No, that's how it's normally done.
If you say the square root of something, you should be able to do the square root. You shouldn't have to
Okay,
punch in the number
listen,
first and then square
listen,
it.
listen.
I'm
I'm
listening.
listening.
They're like they try to use the number that you're trying to find and then the basis of what you're trying to do with it and then the answer. So how is it different than whenever you're trying to do 3 plus 3
That's
then?
why I'm trying to write a function. When you're writing it out on paper, you say
Listen,
the
it's not a
square
smart
root,
calculator
and
though.
then...
We're not arguing about a smart calculator.
It's a scientific calculator.
No, it's not. It's a piece of shit computer.
Hey.
All
Sorry,
these
Microsoft.
pains. Oh my goodness.
I'm calling Microsoft. I don't know.
Calling him out.
Yeah. You're saying that you can make something better than what they've created. I
Mhm.
feel
No, because they'll put me out of business before I even
Bill
could.
Gates, this is Vincent Hart. I've got a better calculator than you will ever have.
And he's like,
And
"Who's
then he'll
this?"
just be like, "Why are you calling me? How did you get this number?"
I'm calling the police.
You're just inside of his home. But wait, I have an offer you can't refuse.
It just pulls out a gun. A gun! No!
See, it's an offer you can't refuse. So,
Mm-hmm.
as we roam past the city of Fog Gate and its immense tower towards the crest of the fractured lands between the city of Fog Gate and the lands it inhabits, and the otherwise wild lands that are more so inhabited by the Grimm and to a lesser extent civilizations that have found solace in hidden towns and villages. We come towards the ruins of the once proud town of... What did I give you?
Concentrate.
Mm-hmm.
Concentrating on... Now I'm just thinking about biscuits.
Town called Biscuits.
Oh!
Mm-hmm.
Sanguine.
Stop this.
That was the one. They're all based around like a color palette.
That's what
And
they
then
want
I
you
was
to...
gonna call it rust. It's not rust. It's kind of rust. Okay, it's rust, but you know, don't tell anyone. Anyway.
I'm telling Cry.
Well, I didn't say rust. I said rust.
Oh.
Yes.
Same thing in my brain. I'm telling Cry.
That'll just make him cry. So congratulations, you monster.
Yes.
As we as we come to these ruins, we see a man, and Suvi, do me a favor and give me a description of what you're looking like right now, what you're doing at the moment as you're out here, currently out of sight of some Grimm that are walking the plains of this corrupted and destroyed ruin of a town.
Well, wait, I gotta go with a new voice for him. Well, for me, what? I heard that little snicker. How dare you? I'm offended. But anyways, well, for me, I'm just exploring around, doing my normal routine as a full-grown huntsman. My responsibility is to survey around as much as I can before it reaches evening. Make sure to, well, I guess there's also my off time whenever I go to a certain place to grab some food and then head back to my hut and then go to sleep and then repeat those. Okay, I'm losing focus. I mean, is to make sure there's no Grimm at least lingering, and also make sure to keep a positive mind after all. Yeah, that's all I got. My character's just roaming around past the ruins. He's just exploring, making sure there's no signs of any additional Grimm. Anything that's like low tier to something that is for more of the students to be able to basically cannon fodder. I'm not going to pay too much heed due to the fact that there is a certain like that I feel like it's best for them to learn eventually. So I leave the small cannon fodder unless they actually attack any like civilians. Then I'll at least stain my hand and finish it off with quick and precise cuts.
Well, as you're thinking about all of these things and scanning the area, roll me detect, which is your perception plus your discipline.
Vic, how dare you slap me in the face with that 18 months in a row.
I did it and I'll do it again.
Ooh.
Wait, roll my
Oh
what?
my goodness. I have so many bits.
Your perception and your discipline. You should have it on your checks.
Say that one more time, you're cutting out.
Your perception and your discipline should be under detect.
Detect. Right here.
Precisely.
Do I have any advantages or disadvantages?
We'll say that because at this point in time, you are the kind of person who doesn't easily just let his guard down, as you're here for a reason and you're looking for him. So we'll say with advantage.
Okay.
All right. So, as you're scouting around and you're posted up in what would be a tower in its own right, if it weren't for the various holes in the tower itself, from floors down and one above, and the roof of the tower missing altogether. As you're looking around outside and you see a few Grimm moving towards the eastern areas, towards a more foresty section of the land, you begin to hear the soft padding of footsteps. Not human origin. In fact, the more that you hear them and as they crack and press upon the ground behind you, you are fully aware that you are being watched and approached by a creature, most likely Grimm.
I try to keep my mind calm as I have my weapon at the ready. Its little makeshift scope on it, kind of moving a little because needing minor repairs, super small ones. As I look around, well, look what we have here. Some good old-fashioned friends that want to play. I know you guys think you can beat me, but it's adorable otherwise. As I quickly, while it's holstered, looking like it's a blade sheath to my side, I unattach it from my waist and then have it flip, the scope at least facing sideways. The barrel of the gun at least extends out, and the handle where the normal the hilt of the blade is, ends up being the guard for the back end of the rifle, as I have the scope at the ready.
All right. And as you're doing so, that there are at least around, I'd say 18 to 20 of the Grimm sort of creeping and crawling from around the open hole in this section of the tower, and some coming from the pathway leading down the tower. They're coming from the stairwell. They're right around the medium range, I'll say. This, and at this point in time, it is within your action phase, which is at this point in time, coming into your action, you have 3 actions to choose from. They can all be a movement, semblance. It can be a varying assortment of the above, but it is in your round.
Okay. So I'm trying to think about this because I have the scope at the ready. So, I'm able to. How many am I able to see right now?
You know that there are more of sounds that you hear, but as far as you can see right now that can fit in this area, because they're fairly large, you see around 4 in front of you.
Are they like beside each other, or at least right, like close by each other, like in an angle where
2 are right next to each other as they're crawling over each other up the stairwell. 1 is crawling up, sort of upside down in to the building from the hole in the wall ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then to your left, there's 1 crawling in from the hole, but coming in through the side.
Okay. As whenever that's going on, I at least want to take a shot since I already had my gun side of my weapon at the ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to at least take out the 2, or hope to. Is it possible to do that?
Depends on your damage. I'll
How?
tell you now. Enemies are a little bit different in this than they are in
What would be the basis of damage, though? Like just strength, or?
Your damage is determined by your style of weapon, and then you would roll your damage, which is in this case, if you have anything that's like an additional, like if your crystal says you do an additional damage of some sort, then you would roll however many d6 you're actually trying to invest in this action. So if you're using all of your action for it, then like 3d6, 1d6, 2d6, something like that. But you still have to roll your attack first.
Okay, so then I'm rolling for my ranged attack then?
Yeah, if you're shooting at them, then you're rolling
Yes.
for your range.
Okay. So I hit that dice piece then, because it's supposed to be an accurate weapon.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm hitting that. Advantage or disadvantage?
In this situation, they kind of have the drop on you, but you're in situations like this, so no disadvantage.
So no advantage, no disadvantage?
Mm-hmm. Just
Okay.
a straight roll. Definitely hits. And then roll out that damage for me. All right, so as you load up your rifle and you take the shots, just bullet after bullet flying into the skulls of the first 3. The one up top that was crawling in from the ceiling, you just shoot it straight through the skull, and a bullet pierces through just with pinpoint accuracy and just kind of funneled by the wind itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you shoot one, angling it towards the ground. It ricochets off and hits the 2 that were coming up stairwell.
Hmm. Okay. So there was that one. As I'm like, huh, nailed it. Do I have any more actions, or was that a full shebang right there?
No, it was just one action.
Okay. And then I have 2 more then?
Yeah. You have either continuing to attack, you have your semblance, you have moving, you have maybe you decide to jump out of the hole in the wall that you're next to. Up to you.
Hmm.
And I'll tell you with your detect that you can kind of feel them at this point, trying to like close in on you and seal off all of your exits.
And I'm gonna at least use my second action to activate my semblance.
Okay. And how are you trying to use it?
So, for at least my semblance, for those that don't know, my semblance is called Whirlwind. It is a elemental wind, and it's a speed. Powerful and uncontrollable force of wind, allowing one to move at extreme amounts of speed, but can cause the holder unable to move as fast after using up all stamina. As for me, I am going to I'm gonna at least use that speed. How many are within sight?
You can see within your vision at the moment. You can hear more coming from below. You know that there is the one still on the left that is looking at you and looking like is preparing to strike out at you. And as far as others that you can see, looking out behind you, there are 2 trying to scale the wall below you.
As can I? Because I'm using my semblance to at least for a gust of speed at them. So because I'm gonna rush the one. Is there a way for me to shift my weapon into its melee weapon to attack?
Yeah, like you can just do that off the regular for your attack.
Oh, thank God! I thought
stylize it.
I'd have to make sure.
No. Just flavor it up however you want.
Okay, so my idea is that for Civ, he's going to like use his wind ability to at least push himself to accelerate his and force himself to basically ram into the one to see if he can knock that one to have a domino effect to knock any that are trying to proceed forward there.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever that happens, whenever that happens, yeah, it's ramming into one in the hopes because he's using basically all of the force from his semblance to create like a big domino effect using the power of whirlwind to force anything behind it back, basically as a push, like an almighty push using one of the Grimm, basically the cause and effect.
Yeah, going for the ripple. Okay, and that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
All right. So roll me will to see if your semblance rings true. Or roll me your if you have the semblance roll, just roll me that.
Semblance roll?
No, you don't have one, so it's fine. Just straight up will then.
Will.
No, you have your semblance. Yeah, it's your it's right.
Oh. Did I press the one right by the semblance then? Or
you would just it would be the it's the little dice thing right next.
Okay. Pressing it. Advantage or disadvantage? Or none?
Yeah, give yourself advantage.
What? And my connection died. What? Hello? I know.
Now we wait for it to actually be visible.
Okay. Am I alive?
Did you press it?
I did.
Also, get this out of here. It's beautiful. It's
The
beautiful.
music is going.
For some reason.
My game.
Fate decided
was
no
being-
music. Sad Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, now it loads it up. Okay, whatever.
Is it loaded up now?
It did.
Good.
Yeah.
Alright, let me see. I
Hold
don't
on.
see yet.
Okay, so it
Let's see
says, Civ uses their semblance whirlwind plus speed at an advantage 16 in power. That's what it says.
Alright. Let me roll this around. This roll 20 is a big butt. And
I agree.
it won't show me your roll. But you said it was a 16?
Correct.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah,
this
I'm
will
not
be
seeing
the-
it either.
Like, it's on stream, so...
Oh no, I mean I believe you. I just sometimes roll 20 will do that. It's
Oh,
pretty dumb.
I think everything's breaking.
Oh no.
Not the breaking.
It's about
I
to
didn't
break.
even look at
I see
Oh, so
you.
closer to the edge. I'm about to break.
Get back. Well, I mean I had this.
Boiled again. I'll get you next time. Yeah,
Oh
dude.
dear.
I think
There we
everything's
go.
breaking.
Restart the page if you can.
I did. It's stuck at
And
0.
just... Oh no. It wants you to restart from 0.
Mm.
Ooh, this music is so fancy.
Right?
Is it a
I
Ruby song?
wanted combat, and it
Stuff
does
is
it
about to
feel
get
like
ready.
combat.
It does.
Cool.
Like very hip hop combat. We're about to have a rap battle.
I mean, that's just Ruby songs in a nutshell, though.
Yeah.
I mean, well, there is one. Is very jazzified. Hey, jazz, if you like jazz. Let me see if I can find it, actually. As Roll20's being a piece of shit. I think my stuff's broken.
How so?
Nothing's loading.
That's not good.
It is the big bum. Give it a second.
I'm surprised I'm still alive. Eh? Oh,
I mean, oh no! I saw that was just like a. And hello, Zero.
Hi, Zero.
What? Oh, it's 0. Yeah, howdy, 0.
This is 0.
All right, I see it. I see it trying its hard, just on its tiny little legs, just run. It's trying to get into there, but it can't. It's sad. It's falling.
It's me. It is me, 0. Are you sure about that, 0? I don't know if you're 0. Vic, you gotta confirm
Could
that. Is
you-
that 0? There it is.
Was 0.
It is 0. Ah.
What was that stupid meme? Is Bruno Mars? What was it? It's Bruno Mars.
I remember. I kind of remember.
That stupid meme is dumb. But whatever. I was trying to make the joke and it died.
It did. It sunk into the ground, but it's okay because, I remember your thing. So with the 16, up to you. I'll give you this right now just because it was able to be seen. If you want to reroll it right now, you can. But if not, then with your 16, you definitely managed to whirlwind into and you said you kind of wanted to just like slam into the one that's on the left that was kind of crawling into the building. Or
Oh
into
no
the
no
tower?
no! I was trying to at least slam any that are trying to at least get because yeah. I'll go with that one.
Okay. So as you do so, you headbutt into the thing with all the force of just like the wind behind you. And it's just from point A to point B.
I was gonna go for
all that.
Captain Falcon knee.
Oh. Well, as you do that, and your knee connects with this thing's jaw, and you kind of just burst outside of the tower with this thing. You fly out and you collect yourself onto a nearby rooftop, and you can now see that they were all crawling over the tower, trying to get into it, and they all look to you, and their eyes ignite with some red sort of fury.
Ooh.
I sigh. Great. This is a nice way to start my day. Oh, wait. It's a nice way to start my day. Ugh. Screw it. Time to use it as... Is it possible to take my last action to, use my scroll?
Use your scroll? Yeah, you totally can.
Okay, cool. That's what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna have my, cat tail, like, wiggle around and go into my pocket and just, like, take out my scroll for me as I'm holding, my weapon in two hands. And using my cat tail to, like, wrap around and press, like, a button to at least send an SOS to at least inform any available hunter or huntresses that are available at this time to come assist in location, because the scroll has a GPS locator on my where it's at, requesting any fellow backup. All right,
Okay.
a little bit of backup won't hurt anyone.
So, as you pull out your scroll, rolling through it to
My tail's
so
doing
now
it.
sort of like an SOS kind of deal.
Yeah.
Somewhere in another location altogether. In the grand city of Foggate here on the Isles of Bastion. Currently in her office, going over, I'd say, and grading papers that she has already
What time
ushered
of
out.
year is it, Sakura, at this point?
What time of the year?
Yeah.
It's kind of like spring-ish.
Okay, so these are like term papers then.
Yeah.
School's
Midterm?
probably going to be out in a couple of months, something like that.
And in the that in the when the season rolls around again and coming into the fall and into the winter will be some new
Hunters and huntresses.
students. Yes, that will be coming into the academy.
You're good. You're good, Zero.
But as you're grading all of these papers, you are the first to see on your scroll it begins to sort of thrum to life with this we'll say with this energy that is
You mean
very
the life alert kind of thing? Well, no, not life alert. What was it called whenever it usually goes off whenever something serious happens? It's like
You mean like an Amber Alert?
Yes, basically the equivalent to an Amber Alert, but it's just like a Grimm Alert.
Oh,
Indeed.
Suvi's been kidnapped.
You do see Suvi's color on your scroll as it comes through, and the message rolls through. It's kind of staticky, but you do hear Suvi's voice asking for assistance, and you see his location being pinged on a sort of map of the Isles, and you see that's not far from here.
Must have run into something a little bit tougher on his patrol than usual. I'm just kind of looking to the stack of papers that I have to get done with, but if he's in trouble, then I'd better help. So just push back from my desk and make my way to my launcher.
Okay, so in a corner of office, kind of propped up in a way should you ever
You're
need
cutting
to
out a lot,
sit.
Sucker.
Oh, and then I thought, and because okay, is it good?
And that yeah.
It's okay, don't mind him.
Trying to find.
Also, where did the music go?
The music actually changed. It was going to be a bit of transition from one to the other, but I wanted to bring about something very to this situation. As I felt like the one prior was in the spectrum of things that I wanted, but then I found something better. Well, that's even better.
Oh, there you go.
There go. So, coming into this, you will be hearing this music. It fits the middle
yay.
just a bit more. Please hold. Call is very important.
Sakura, pick up.
Please hold. Your call is not very important to me.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I feel so attacked right now.
We're sorry, AT&T will not be answering your call.
I'm a pea in your like soup. It's like, what?
No, so
Psst, no, you bitch.
What's happening?
after I found this incredible music, how dare you? Anyway, so, as you find your coffin
Sakura, you're talking in bits again.
in bits and pieces. Okay, how's it right now?
I mean, right now you're fine, but I think every time you page away from Discord, it cuts you out.
Discord, you jealous hussy.
Discord!
Gosh darn it. Okay, well, coming.
Yeah, you're cutting out right now.
Am I? Am I really?
Yeah. Let's change regions. Let's go to Central.
Yeah, that usually is ye old
Yep.
faithful.
And if that doesn't work, then we'll boot Sakura from the call and make you rejoin.
Also, darling, change your
Yeah?
picture. Change your character name on the chat thing.
On the chat thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. I will do that right now. I've done it.
Yeah, let's get that cuties thing.
Okay.
She knock off Aizawa Sensei.
How dare you? Mine is completely original character. Do not copy.
I'm having some Sonic OC flashbacks here. Gotta go not so fast.
Gotta go slow. Sad Sonic.
Oh.
Sad Sonic just wants to live his life.
You
but he
mean the
keeps
live
getting
action
into
Sonic
trouble.
then? Not the,
The
not
old
the new one,
one.
the old one.
Yes.
Well, getting to your coffin and getting into your all of your belongings, making sure they're all neat and tidy where they're supposed to be.
Tidy whitey.
Would you say that you fall into your coffin in arms kind of crossed against your chest and
Absolutely, just kind of plopping back into it.
all right, it closes behind you, and you hear a sort of countdown, and then you are propelled up, able to see all that is happening, at least from the outside of your coffin. You are sailing up, and you begin to just rocket yourself to Suvi. And that will be as you sort of slam into the earth a bit, cementing your coffin just a bit. It is a very sturdy thing, so it just slams in the earth and causes a sort of shift in its otherwise natural form. And your coffin starts to spring open, and you are made privy to a scene where you see a bit far into the distance on top of a building is Suvi, weapon out towards his side, and you can see on a tower ahead of him are various Grimm that look to be just infesting that tower and making a beeline for him.
Looks like he did get himself in some trouble. I guess I better help.
And roll me detect, if you will.
Okay. Where is that?
Oh, and Sakura.
Yes.
Don't forget, I only can do single fire shots, so I have to reload every single time.
True. So, in this
Advantage,
sense, you
yes
have
or no?
yourself. For detecting around?
Mm-hmm.
As you're coming out of it, you definitely have advantage because of what you're able to see right now. And with that, you wholeheartedly see coming around the other parts around the ruins, as you kind of have like a overall view of what's happening around these ruins. You can see that there is something causing up a lot of dust and rubble to just start piling up near
Mhm.
the left side of the town, left side of your field of vision. And you can't make out quite what it is, but you see that dust is piling up and concealing this thing that looks fairly large. And as the ground kind of shakes and rattles a bit, um, you can tell that its size is probably equivalent to what you think it is at this point in time.
Well, that's not good. And is Suvi in hearing range if I were to shout to him?
I'm a faunus.
Or is he too far away?
I have
Yeah, he could. You'd know he'd be able to hear you.
I have
Okay.
cat ears. All right.
In that case, I'm just going to call out, Suvi, do you need my help?
My kitty cat ears just wiggle, and I look back. I mean, would you kindly? I kind of only can reload this old piece of junk once in a while, as I just like flip a single bullet right into it and just load it in again.
In that case, I want to get over there as soon as possible, so I'm going to use my mobility to start grappling my way over there as fast as possible.
Okay. So for that kind of roll, to use your weapons mobility and to just get yourself over there very quickly, that will be a measure of your, we shall say, your agility
Okay.
and your.
Is
Are you
that like
trying to
a
get on top
string?
of the building, or are you trying to get just
Just-
close?
As close as I can, as quickly as possible.
Oh, and you're grappling. Okay.
Mhm.
We'll
Yeah,
say that
spider
to
bit.
get there, it will be your.
Do you want just like a grapple roll, or is that more like fight?
That's for more like grabbing someone up. So
Okay.
for this, we'll
Baki
say
the
it's
grappler
like
kind of
your
setup.
agility
Okay.
and your perception.
Okay. So let's see. What would that be? Is there a combo roll of that, or do I need to make one? Oh wait, here we go. Dodge. And advantage, yes or no?
You would have in this scenario. Describe to me how you're doing it, and I'll tell you.
I mean, I'm just taking out my whip chain and just trying to lasso the nearest branch to basically propel myself forward, and then just latching onto the next one, sort of swinging my way forward.
So like
Okay.
a Spider Woman style.
Because we are in a forest, yes, lots of trees around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just trying to use them to swing forward, launching myself from one to the next.
I will do you one better.
Mhm.
For this, I will definitely introduce you to another mechanic of this
Okay.
game, which is a big part of it, which is the ROC segment of this, which is basically just the rule of cool. And what that does is, depending on your actions and how I'm doing them in the grand scheme of this setup,
Mhm.
you would add a number of dice, basically from your roll, and you would add it to Subi's. So I will say that definitely give yourself a 1 under the little thing that says ROC.
Okay.
And Suvi, do the same for yourself.
Oh yeah.
All right.
All right. And go for it.
Okay. Advantage? Yes, no?
No advantage.
No advantage.
Wait, where would it be? ROC?
Yeah. And dodge a hazard you did. As you swing from your from your chain, kind of whipping around the branch, and the ROC is at the. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Vincent? Okay, good. So you swing around very quickly, starting to build up a sort of momentum, going at very alarming speeds. You begin to just rocket yourself a bit further than you thought you were intending, and you begin descending, and you, in as graceful a manner as possible, land a bit teetering on the edge of the building that Suvi is on. But you keep yourself standing there, and you are now roughly in the same area as Suvi, as you're on the same building.
So am I higher than him now since I kind of overshot?
You are, on just a floor above. Is in these ruins. The building itself is kind of caved in on the ceiling part, but you're on one of the areas, kind of like an open mouth kind of deal, where it's just like there's a slab layer, and then there's a hole kind of very jaggedly in the square. And Suvi, you are underneath, and you look up, you see that Frosh is just kind of like right above you, with chain stick in hand.
As I
And
look
I'm
up,
just going to wave down to him. Hello.
I look up at her. Aren't you supposed to be working on the grade since we're getting kids
I
to graduate?
am, but someone called for help.
I shrug. Listen, putting my gun to my shoulder. All right, are you gonna at least complain to the headmaster about this?
Not if you want.
I shrug. Fair enough. As I have a change over to the katana. I mean, switch it over to blade mode. So hoist things back together. Has the scope become a handle as I grip it, and have the blade in draw stance. Well, ready to party then?
Ready.
And Frosh, it is still your turn. You still have 2 actions.
Okay.
Unless you went with an additional, then you have a little bit more.
No, I mean, so far I was just getting into position, and now that I have met up with him, I'm going to look to the nearest of the Grimm. And I'd like to just start whipping out some icicles at them.
Sounds pretty amazing. All right, so you are going to be trying to use some of your rounds for this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so roll me that ranged attack.
Okay. Ranged, which is, of course, just range damage.
Range attack first, and then damage comes
Yeah,
after.
because accuracy,
I
then
see.
comes the damage.
And advantage, yes, no?
No advantage.
Because you don't have the high ground, darling.
And you
I do have the high ground.
Did you add the dice as well?
Yeah, I still have that ROC +1.
Are you supposed to put it as a
that?
+1?
Oh, how do you roll the ROC?
Okay, so for your little skill roll thing, that's just. Is it damage? I don't think it's damage. I don't think.
Yes, a lot of damage.
I don't think real cool applies under damage.
But would it work under accuracy then, in that sense?
It works under skills.
Okay.
So in this case, you would take that roll. Just barely hits. And as you do so, roll your damage now.
Okay.
All right.
4.
So, as you're looking at all of these Grimm starting to sort of leap off of the tower itself towards the 2 of you, with your whip turning more into something akin to like a blow dart, you begin, or did you say it was more just like you're just like whipping out
Whipping
shots?
with the chain, yeah. Just kind of
Okay.
like flicking it at them.
So kind of like a a tamer of sorts. You slam out your whip and you cause these sickles of ice to penetrate the bodies of the Grimm before you as they shoot and pierce through. Two in the chest, one gets shot in the throat, grabs at it and falls with a yelp, and another is kind of coming near you, but your sickle just kind of goes straight from its jaw outside of the back of its head, and it dissipates into the darkness. You still have a additional attack or another action to make.
Because I did go for the multiple attacks, so I guess since I have sent out my initial projectile, if there's any kind of within range, I want to make a move to like strike them directly.
Like the
Okay.
closest one, or because you know there's multiples.
I know there are multiple, but just like the closest one I can get to.
To get to the closest one, you'd have to take that last action to, or take one of those actions to move first to get
Okay.
within their range. But keep in mind that they are some distance away from you at the moment. You can see that there is, in fact, one though that is clinging onto the side of the building that both you and Suvi are on at the moment. If you wish to try and attack that one,
Yes, definitely.
roll it.
And that would be melee?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you want,
Mhm.
so that you don't have to constantly be bombarded by it, if you look at this tab down here, you will have the option to turn off advantage or disadvantage, asking for,
Okay.
you know,
Aha.
those purposes.
Let's see. Asking for a modifier in all rolls and just uncheck that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, just put
No.
asking, including query asking if using advantage or disadvantage, and you can just do that.
Okay.
Yeah. And go for it. Okay. So as you whip out your attack towards this creature, trying to slam your whip into its body, it very narrowly sort of sees your attack and sort of moves out of the way, just kind of like shimmying to the side of the building. Claws just kind of pressed into the other side as it looks at you, and it just makes this very low guttural growl. But now, it is the turn of the Grimm. And so, bippity boppity. These little monsters here, right here, here, and here, are going to try and harm you in some way or another. So, the one next to you, Frosh, begins to scale up the wall very quickly, just charging towards you, and leaps into the air and tries to slam down at you. And now you have an option to parry, dodge, resist, or use your semblance to protect you.
Magic armor.
I mean, using the semblance is probably a good move. If he's getting right in range, then wrapping him up with the chain definitely seems appropriate. So what do I roll for this?
So you're trying to use your semblance to sort of
to restrain him, just wrap him up.
So
Yeah,
that will
BDSM.
be your will plus your perception, and you can do these rolls in another way by going to your little attributes, and then you check mark them, and you can roll them that way.
Okay. That's helpful. I do see the thing. So perception and will.
And yes.
Bloop.
And I think there is like the little semblance one that's like right below it, where it
Mhm.
says like
Yeah, I
the
saw
first
that
gen.
one.
Yeah, so you can use either of those.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. So, yeah.
Wow.
As you go and you begin to construct these various chains that begin to just stretch out, and they multiply to wrap around this thing that's trying to grab at you. You do so, and yeah, that's way above. So you get to actually counterattack this thing.
Cross counter.
So you can use. You can either use your range attack or your semblance attack to do something dangerous to this thing, or a dust-based attack.
I mean, I think the dust-based attacks would probably be best. If I could just like freeze it solid, that'd be good.
Go for it.
So, do I just roll the one by files?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Keep in mind how much capacity that took.
Mhm.
And what are you trying to do with this this file?
Freeze it into a block of ice.
You definitely hit the DC for that. So as Suvi, you kind of turn around to see Frosh up with a Grimm that leaps into the air and is descending upon her. But as it does so, Frosh sends out these multiple chains of ice, just made out of pure ice and its elements, and they wrap around this thing. And as they crush into it, the creature begins to freeze, and you see as its body begins to stick in place, and it being kind of stuck in this motion, it only has one thing to do, and it begins to very much so fall quickly. But roll me that good old-fashioned damage.
Okay. And how do I do that?
So for this, it will be, we'll say it is, for the falling damage and the ice, we'll just say it's 3d6. Roll me 3d6.
3d6, can do. One moment.
No.
D6. Yeah.
Impatient.
Oops. I only
Very-
did one. Hold on.
Very
Just made
impatient.
it low. How dare.
3d6.
there you
There we go.
Okay, so as you see this thing, yeah,
Goodbye, Cujo.
all right, so
Wait, what type of Grimm is like what we're fighting right now?
you're fighting,
Beowulf?
essentially like the very big sort of werewolf types.
Yeah, those are Beowulfs.
So as you freeze this thing and you drop it down and you just let it slink out of your chains, you see as it drops,
Bless you.
Oh, bless it.
it drops and you look down to see that there are a few more below, and it comes down kind of like an icy meteor upon them. And as it crashes, it slams into all of them, and as it just slides down, it crushes them all, and you just see it splat, and their grim blood just kind of caking up the ground down there as the other one just shatters into a million pieces.
Hmm.
So that was a thing.
There's the terminologies.
Suvi.
I mean, yes.
So, the Grimm that were after you have, most of the ones that were leaping from the tower were dismantled by Frosh's icicles, but the majority of them still stay there, and they are rushing towards you at this point in time, as they are just like leaping at you. And a lot of them are trying to take attacks, but you have the option of either parrying some of them, dodging them, resisting the damage that they're about to do to you, or using your semblance. Or dust, but you said you don't use files, so
Yeah.
probably just one of the 3 or 4.
I'm probably gonna rely on my whirlwind again for this instance.
Gonna go with that semblance?
Hell yeah.
Alright.
Well, you know what? No. I'll take that back. I'm going to at least try to parry it in this instance, since even though I loaded the gun, I'm gonna switch into blade. Just for them precise counters.
Alright. Give me that parry as you're going to try and take on all of these Grimm attacks with your parry.
Yes. To see how, like, if I can at least do a quick strike to counter at least most of them.
Roll that ROC dice up one more. For the both of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing a quick draw. At least if I can parry that.
We're about to find out. And if it doesn't roll through, for the RLC dice, just roll 2 more d10.
Okay. But
we'll see. So roll your parry for your defense.
yeah, that's what I'm doing. Any advantages, disadvantages? Well, okay.
It's just pretty
1t4.
cool. Extra saucy. Okay.
Yeah.
So you definitely push past that limit right there. Okay. So as you're going for this this parry, the beasts come at you, and it is a tale of cats and dogs. As you just kind of swish and swing through a lot of their blows, batting away at claws and deflecting their advances as they land kind of some around you, some kind of missing their target as you deflect off, and they kind of are kind of thrown back a little bit by it. But you definitely have a counterattack to make. In this sense, it would be in your melee department.
My melee. Let's see. So my melee. So as whenever I parry that, here it comes. No advantage or disadvantage.
For this, neither. Yeah, neither.
Okay.
Let's see it.
Oh my god! That's a lot of accuracy.
That's the rule of cool for you. So, all right. Did it roll twice for you?
What?
Did it roll twice, or did you roll it twice by accident?
Oh no. I rolled because it was a parry, and then it led into the accuracy. I think it accidentally rolled it twice.
Okay.
So
Well, the 16 is really all you needed for that. Okay. All right. So, all right, Brian. We're just gonna
because I'm the real cat's meow.
stop that. I love it, but stop that. So, as you're deflecting all of them, and they sort of land around you, the dust settling as they come in, you start to swivel, and with a very precise slice, you spin around yourself in a 360, and as you sheathe your weapon, in a sense, closing it off, all of them begin to emit their sort of blackish blood as they all die around you.
Like once I sheath my weapon and just hears the chink.
Yes.
I'm like, I guess you can say that was perfect.
This is not Devil May Cry. You do not get a grading for it. All right, listen.
In your mind, you gave it a grade.
I totally did. I'm not gonna tell you what though.
I'm a teacher. I'm grading that a B. Keep working on it.
Jeez, touchy. Just because you got stuck on
I
a wall.
expect great things from my students.
I'm not a student. I'm your fellow coworker. Jeez. We get paid well, actually, you get paid a little bit more because you have to educate
And
them.
thus she expects more of you, which is fine because you're always impressing.
That's too much work. I like to just be free and chill and sometimes sleep. Not all the time.
My goodness. Well, you're very active at this moment in time as you do this, and they all begin to fall around you, and you feel like you've decimated their numbers at this point. But as the dust settles and the two of you look on to see that once again you've handled yourselves very well, and all that you've learned at the academy is really shown in your skills thus far, you begin to hear the thudding of something, the ground quaking, the rubble inside the building shifting and moving around, little pebbles vibrating up off of the ground and moving.
Oh, that's not good.
You know how it is. As I twirl my my weapon into like a sniper rifle form, and at the ready since I already had it loaded a bullet in.
And as you look, the dust settling, and the silhouette of something coming through the smoke, you see two red eyes that ignite with a sort of flash. And then, as the dust disperses very quickly, you see this very massive creature staring down the two of you as it lets out this bellowing roar.
What type of Grimm is it? Is it like an elder Ursa?
It is. It is a big, very bear-like creature that looks like it is just a titan in its own right.
As I make the remark, "Geez, this is a newer version of an Ursa."
You can see that actually, there's a role for this. Give me detect, the both of you.
Okay.
Please hold as I am trying to figure myself out. And then
Dear
there's
friggin' me. Jeez.
also no advantage or disadvantage.
You don't really. Just roll it. Don't think you need it.
I was just gonna say I had a slight advantage because of my sniper rifle scope.
I think I just kind of broke you both.
Yeah.
Yay!
I expect an equivalent challenge to match us.
No.
Oh no, this is
Yes,
definitely
yes,
the
yes,
equivalent.
yes.
This is very much the equivalent because it would take a large number of you to deal with this normally, and you know that at this point you see that this this Grimm looks to have been amassing some kind of power from what seems to be the town itself, as you can kind of see now as dust has settled and you have a better look of everything, that there are skeletal remains of various individuals, both human and faunus, and as you look at this thing, its maw just dripping with this sort of essence, you definitely see that it has larger spikes to its shoulders, going from its shoulders to its arms, its claws just razor sharp on both arms, and its helmet or its head is more skull-like than bear-like, as it's just kind of deteriorated in a way.
Time to put this one down, Zuby.
You know how it is. As I'm just at the ready. How do you feel, Cold shoulder or good old bite on the butt?
Let's kick him out of our town. Right on the butt.
Sounds like a plan as I switch it back into blade. Like blade form.
All right. So it rolls back around because, yeah. Actually, no, it didn't move or do anything yet. So it begins to rush towards the building that you're both at, and with its large, just you could call it a paw, but also a claw paw, and it comes down.
It's a claw.
It's a claw paw. It comes down towards the both of you as it tries to just slam and crush this building. I'll tell you right now. I will say that you're not able to really parry it.
Okay, well that's understandable. It's a giant freaking elder Ursa.
Yeah, but you have the ability to dodge, possibly resist, but it's not recommended.
That's gonna
use your
hurt.
semblance. It is, but you're welcome to just, soldier through it.
Well, I'm at least try to use my semblance to help. What's her name? Help move Frosh out of the way. Sorry,
That
I was
was
about
over
to say
there.
Fresh because Frosh and Fresh is too close. As
Fine though.
I'm gonna use my semblance to try to get us out of the way.
Okay.
Since mine's speed, baby.
So, as you try to use your would you be upset with me if I told you that wasn't the PC?
No.
As you go, and there's some powerful stuff right there.
My semblance is power.
It is, and yeah, you definitely managed to grab Frosh and speed out of there. Just by a hair's breadth at this point as it's coming down, and moments before it is impacting with your bones and body, you turn into the wind, as it were, and slide away onto the next building over.
As I'm making sure to just hold her by her head so she doesn't get that what's it called?
Whiplash.
Yeah, trying to make sure not give her whiplash while just holding her in my arms. As I'm like, you okay there?
I'm doing fine.
You brought up a very interesting point. Brought up a very, very interesting point. Frosh,
Yes.
could you
You suck. I knew it.
What do you want me to roll?
could you give me resist, please?
Okay. Oh no.
Don't worry, that was just me shanking the world.
It's pretty good though. It's pretty good. So thankfully your neck does not have any negative repercussions to this action.
I mean, I'm used to whipping myself around, so.
And I whip it good.
Oh my goodness. So as you both manage to tumble onto this part of the building, ever so barely, the ground beneath you is not stable, I'll tell you that right now. But this thing looks, and it wastes no time trying to slam down with this other paw. As it's coming down, you again want to have the options between, dodge, resist, semblance, dust, if you have it.
I'm at least attempt semblance one more time, since I still have fresh in my arms.
But keep this in mind. Roll with disadvantage because you're on unsteady ground.
That's fair. Holy shit!
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
I may have to never give you rule of cool just because you're already both very cool. So cool. You're so cool.
I mean, at least not two at once, it would seem.
As whenever seeing that, I just try to use my semblance again, pushing back, like using my boots to just dig into the ground and just go whoosh, dodging again, trying to hope to get out of the sight of this Elder Ursa.
And can I assist in this maneuver? I know I'm being carried at the moment.
I would say that you both have the opportunity to, work in tandem with this. You can use it as you can use both of your actions as a combined action.
Yeah, because if I can, I could just whip us to safety. Like, try and, hook off one of the nearby branches like I did when I was coming in.
You can definitely try.
Right?
And
So, that'll be that same roll from before, the dodge.
And remember the disadvantage.
Ah, I have the thing turned off. I'll turn it back on quick. Sucker has told me to turn it off. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I sometimes have to take control of my own fate. And by that I mean I'm
Okay.
going to keep harassing them about it.
Okay, it was 2 less with the disadvantage.
Okay. So, as you're trying to, what are you trying to do with yours? As you're trying to grapple onto something?
He's trying to speed us away, and as we go, I'm going to try and grapple us onto something so I can yank us away even faster.
All right. So your grapple slams onto the branch of this thing, but it is the same branch that you used to just sort of over velocity, kind of hit this sense of velocity that just was ridiculous to get onto the building before. So as you reach out towards this branch and you pull it, that thing snaps. And you both begin going in that direction just as the branch is coming towards you. And as that is happening, roll me that same dodge. And remember to, when you're using your semblance, Vincent, for the defensive purposes, use the one on the defense side.
Of dodge?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been doing that dice rolls.
Okay. Just making sure that you're using
Yeah, defense versus skill checklist.
Yeah.
I got you. You know, like I know you. You know me.
I know you. You know me. Okay, we know each other.
We big happy family.
Big happy.
Big happy. So advantage, disadvantage, or none?
They're just a flat roll.
Okay. As whenever I see her make that hiccup. Yup.
Oh. Okay. So Frosh, as this thing comes, Suvi, you try to lead the both of you out of the way, but it definitely hits Frosh, and you're carrying her. Yes.
Yeah, I still have her in my arms, but whenever she did that, she's like, because originally I just kind of, like damsel in distress kind of moment. I have her like that.
You no longer have her like that, as you have but a split second to act. You dodge out of the way of this thing, thinking that you're holding Frosh. You are not. Frosh, you get slammed in by this branch that's just coming at you at this ridiculous velocity. You take
terminal velocity. She dies even with.
I have aura. It's my highest stats.
Okay.
You do. So, against your aura, and this will spend it quite a bit, but you take 2d6. You take 5 to your aura.
Okay.
This thing just hits you in the gut, and thankfully you have your aura on, so the wound, it hurts a bunch, but it's nothing lethal. As you fall to the ground, And Suvi, you as you're dashing forward onto the ground with your whirlwind, you see that you are quite some distance away from Frosh as this thing is trying to make its way to you both. But that is its phase. It is now back to you, Suvi.
As I yell to her, "You all right?"
Okay, just a little winded.
I guess that that's one way to at least handle some wood.
I just my hands they hurt against my face. It's sadness.
As whenever I make that remark, I look up to the elder Ursa. Subi.
Just kind of like,
Well, like I just make a shrug at her, trying to see what's her reaction to it.
I'm just giving him the most deadpan face, like slightly in pain.
As I'm like, all right, fine. Still, I'm at least we're gonna. I mean, the thing I'm gonna at least do is make. I mean, the thing I'm gonna do is tactic cat and mouse. As I do one thing as I ready myself. Having
You don't know why?
What?
You don't know why?
Doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind.
Exactly.
God damn it. Anyways, I ready myself, and I push my I trigger my semblance again. You know cat and mouse tactic, right? I know it's been a while, but
I know it.
okay, out of character. Do you know what I'm talking about though?
Get its attention and provide a diversion.
No, you freeze feet. I at least jump around and smack it
Okay.
in its face.
Alright.
As I trigger my semblance again. As I'm like, here we go, going in for at least a quick draw stance to see if I can cut its face while trying to be a distraction.
All right. So, all right. I'm trying to calculate all of this that's going on. You're going in to like slice at it with your speed,
Yep.
right?
As a quick draw kind of maneuver where, okay, so envision this. I'm at least prepping the stance, push forward, like where I'm gonna at least use my speed to basically do a leap to at least rush and hit its face, and if I can land on something, either with my feet or using my tail to at least keep myself balanced, because you know cats always land on their feet. I'm gonna at least use the high ground to at least keep it distracted. While meanwhile, well, that's it. So,
All right. So, all right. So that roll is going to be your just straight up will. Yeah, go for it.
oh, just use semblance or use will.
That's your semblance is your will. So yeah.
Oh, right. Advantage or disadvantage, or none.
None.
Hiya!
Going in for that attack.
Alright.
Wow. Okay. Oh boy. So that is it.
So you want me to go ahead and do my attack, or are you trying to set up for something?
You don't hit.
What?
Yeah. It's not the fastest thing.
But
But
it's
it's-
smart.
It is pretty smart. No, it's not super smart. It's just very thick.
See it.
Extensively.
So whenever,
So
good.
you slam at this thing, right?
Well, I'm trying to at least go to a sideways slice. Trying to at least keep my momentum, but try to also land at the side. Land to at least something I can put my feet on, or at least catch myself.
You definitely do that, but as you try and slash at this thing, as you're coming at it with your blade, it flicks up its paw, and there's just like a shink as you try and slice at it, and it just deflects it. Do my great big potatoes. Yes, okay. All right. What did I call it before?
What?
What did I call this thing? Oh yeah, I did. All right, there we go. So, as you do that,
Wait, don't I?
you land behind it, correct?
Yeah, because I was trying to at least go to at least the closest, like the highest peak I can at least land on without,
Oh, the highest peak. Okay.
or wherever I'm landing, because based off of where the trajectory is, it's still going to be within the ruins. Yeah.
Yes.
So try to wherever I can land.
You
And
land
try to-
onto a building, the one that you see to be at least big enough. It's not the biggest. It's big enough for where you're trying to go. And you land on it somewhere in this thing's vicinity as it looks towards you. Yeah. It's about to get crazy. So...
Because that's still my first action, right?
It is.
As whenever I land on my feet, trying to be a little dainty about it, I'm like, "You big old dumb teddy bear! I bet your mom was disappointed about you, huh?" As I switch my weapon to gun to try to go for that range damage, trying to hope to pierce its eye, loading in a new bullet, as just cocking it right back into it.
Okay.
And as he's doing that, I'm just gonna say you probably shouldn't antagonize the grizzly bear while I'm getting ready to freeze it.
As I yell, "Don't worry about my tactics. It's an Ursa. They may be able to understand us to a certain degree, but don't worry, I got this, because it's a big dumb teddy bear of the elder kind that literally gains wisdom every time. If it's not defeated, it's gonna keep learning."
Does the bear look like it's getting angry hearing all of this?
The bear is very patient. The bear looks towards Suvi and all of the insults and the jeps and the japes, and it looks towards the both of you. You can see that one of its fists are clutched, and it is grimacing, as far as you can tell, towards Suvi.
It's that meme, the Arthur grip. As I switch my weapon into gun like sniper rifle form, trying to go for its eye.
All right. And as you take aim at it, go ahead and roll that. And Frosh, give me detect.
Okay.
Any advantage or disadvantage?
Going for its eye is a disadvantage.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to do that precision shot.
Mm-hmm.
Going in, and then I take the shot.
Cute.
All right. Even at disadvantage, you definitely hit. And as you pop it in the eye, roll your damage. Alright. Definitely hits. And Frosh, you see that in its hands as it is taking this shot in its eye from Suvi. You can see that it's holding something. As its fingers are swiveling around something in its hand, just kind of rolling it around in its fingers.
Bear paw.
It's big bear paw, but it has like a little bear paw.
No, it has human fingers. It's like...
No, that's weird. I don't want that thought.
Anthropomorphic fingers.
Oh boy.
It's learning.
I mean, it does learn. That's the scary part about the Grimm.
It does, and it has. But as that continues, you still have, I believe, one more action.
Yes, correct. Let me see. What can I do as like once I get that shot in, I make a little remark. Hey, maybe your mama might like you this time. As whenever I add in a new bullet, I try to take a step back, trying to hop down to see if I can go into a little hidey hole to just piss it off, so it can't see me. But I'm trying to play the little, I'm a piece of shit, I'm gonna hide around like a sneaky little cat.
Okay. This seems interesting. Alright. Definitely go for it.
Okay.
No disadvantage or advantage.
Okay, wait. Is it gonna be jump then, or?
You're trying to get on top of this thing?
Oh no, I'm not trying to get on the Ursa. I'm trying to. Actually, you know what? I'm a jump on it.
Okay.
I'm a
Oh,
jump
dear.
on it.
That is disadvantage, but go for it. It's this big thing. I'll just say just a flat roll. Just roll to see if you can jump on top of it.
As like it's mad at me, but
You're not sure actually.
as I go for the I pounce on it, trying to use all four, just be on all fours and just try to go to grab on it by its fur.
You get onto its arm. As you are riding this thing, and that is you.
Yeah!
As we go over to Frosh. I forgot a thing that I said. Oh, that's just on me. It was a thing about you both using an action when you're getting away.
Yep.
But that is on me, so I'll just go over that. So you have your actions, Frosh. What will you do with them?
So I'm going to try and follow through with the original plan. I want to whip out at its heels and try to basically freeze its feet to the ground.
Okay.
And am I close enough to do that, or do I need to close in first and then try the move?
You're currently at a long range. It is more difficult to do, but you can still try it. It would be a little bit easier at medium.
I mean, if I can at least move into medium range, that'd be better.
So then you'd
Go
have
for
to take up a move. Take up a move as the first action then.
Okay.
Feel free to roll it.
Okay, so what would that be?
So that would just be your semblance to see if you can freeze this thing's legs.
Well,
I'd say I guess one of your files.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay, so that was a move, and then it's going to be a semblance next. So that's 2 actions
Advantage,
so far.
disadvantage?
Neither for this.
Okay.
You didn't need it. Not at all. So as you throw your file towards this thing, aiming towards its feet, and you begin with sort of a hand of sort of like incantation sort of deal. Ice begins to come up towards its feet, freezing it.
Oh my goodness.
As these jagged things encrust upon its feet, and it looks down, and it looks towards you. What else?
Sorry, but can't let you go running around, big friend. And since I have its feet wrapped up, I just want to try and encase as much of it in ice as I can.
All right. So you want to try again to put it in further?
I don't have enough capacity
already-
left. Like,
Yeah, it's already held, by the way, because it's held as is with the thing that you've done to freeze
Okay.
it. So you want to do damage to it?
I guess so.
All right.
In that case, I suppose I would just go in for like a melee attack at that point.
Okay.
And I can use 2 since I have additional weapon.
Roll it.
Okay. So should I roll just like 2 attacks first and then worry about the damage later?
Yes.
Okay.
And just roll 2 flat rolls.
What a roll.
I'm assuming no disadvantage advantage.
No, just very flat.
Okay.
All right. First one. What'd you hit with? Doodly doodly doo. And that's it as a total.
Those are just 2 individual attacks since I have my additional weapons, so I can make an extra attack without using an action.
And you. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Both definitely hit. Roll the damage for them.
Same 2 hits.
All right. So, as your whip cracks against this thing, this icy cold thing, slamming into the Ursa's legs, begins to emanate this very low growl, and you can see that its hands are starting to crush and crumble some of the rocks further. And as we move towards its phase, with these rocks in tow, it throws them all at you as its hand rears up, and it begins to open its palm, and you can kind of see now these various, they look kind of like, compared to your size, they're kind of like boulders almost. And as it swivels them around, chucks them all at you.
Oh dear.
And that is obviously you can go amongst, all of the various forms of dodging. Outside of just parrying them, because they're a bit bigger than something that you'd be able to just parry.
So should I just make a dodge roll then?
Yeah, you can roll dodge, you can roll your defensive semblance, you can use dust, and you can try and just resist large boulders being tossed at you.
I guess semblance would probably be best.
Alright, and what are you doing with your semblance as these things come at you?
Trying to effectively, like, as I'm moving to the side, just knock them off course, more or less.
Okay, so we'll say that you're using these icy like chains, perhaps, to
Kind of lashing out at the boulders, trying to at least like knock them a little off course so they don't hit me.
yeah. Go for it. All right. So, you wholeheartedly sort of use your chains and you whip into these boulders as they're coming at you, one after the other, and you devastate them, just kind of like slamming your whip, trying very frantically to just knock all of them either off course or just destroy them outright if you can. And you manage to do so as rubble lies all around your feet. And as the dust settles in its hand and it flexes its fingers reflexively, it takes said hand
Mhm.
and tries to just kind of like trying to squash a bug. Tries to slam that hand onto Soothing.
Oh, no.
Soothing,
Yes.
as this thing is coming with an unprecedented speed towards you. You can definitely do the same things as before, outside of just like parrying it away. And I'll say in this sense, you are very much at a disadvantage.
Okay. At least for this instance, I'm at least. It's dumb, but I want to do it. I want to at least push my semblance again. Actually, wait, no. I'm going to go for a dodge. Just for safe
Okay.
measure. Safe measure, usually, and disadvantage. Since it's trying to swat me like a little mosquito.
It is.
Oh.
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 Oh, no.
What happened?
That's not. You didn't roll 2 ones, right? No, you did not. Okay.
Just one.
Okay. So, as you try to do so, trying to just dodge out of the way, trying to like sort of disengage from its arm and just like leap off of it, maybe.
Well, I was trying to at least, run from like his arm to his shoulder.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that makes this scene much more interesting. So, as you're running up, the hand trying to close in on you in classic giant boss fight-esque deal,
Shadow
starts to
Colossus.
slam. Yes, it does. Yes, it is very like that. As it goes and it begins its hand to slam onto you, and as it's coming down, you think at first it's just very slow and heavy, but the thing that's coming at you is very quick. And as you see the shadow, the silhouette, as you're looking up and you turn to see it, hits you.
Ah!
And as it hits, it does. Do. Oh. 2d6. Crushes into you for 6 damage
Oh,
against your
no.
aura. And then it, as its hand is on you, just smushing you against it,
Oh, no.
Ah!
begins to try and pick you up.
And it's doing all of this while its feet are stuck to the ground still.
Oh yeah, it's fully in place, and it's just. I mean, you're both
He's
coming
smarter
to
than
it.
an
It's just-
average bear, you could say.
Suvi, the cat and mouse isn't working.
It's the cat in this situation. As it's trying to pick you up, it grabs onto you, but as this is happening, you do have the chance to break out of this grapple as it's holding on to you, and it rears you back up to its eyes, one that's shot out by you and the other that's looking directly at you, and it just huffs a bit of air at you, just blowing this very putrid smell into your face.
So I make
And as
a
it looks down, you
Ugh.
oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was like, ugh, tic tac much.
It looks genuinely wounded by that. Feel free to give break.
And I'm about to wait. Okay, so that's just under the skill check. Okay, let's just making sure.
Your strength and your discipline.
Disadvantage.
You have, yeah.
In this instance, yeah.
But you can try.
Oh.
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 Die.
Oh no! Can I try and help?
It's coming back to
It's not your turn yet.
You and Subi's turn. Now I will say this. I mentioned it before, but you both can swap your turns because it is your phase, so you can do with it as you wish as far as who goes first and in what order.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as this thing, you're trying to escape and it just squeezes on you harder. Nothing
Ow.
pops or snaps, but
I'm still gonna say
yeah.
ow.
yeah, no, it's very tight and very uncomfortable.
So I'm like, I'm not a squeaky toy.
Just reflexively squeezes you, and you can't help but go squeak.
Squeak.
Wait.
You just, I just picture Goku in that moment from the Team 4 Star, and I just hear you going squeaky toy. And there is a twisted smile on this thing's face.
Oh my god.
as this-
That is hilarious. Squish, squish, squish.
It's a sadist. Oh no.
But it is back to either Suvi or Frosh's turn, depending on how you want to go about this.
Rush.
Alright, I'll try and save him from this mess.
All right.
um,
How will you do
if
it?
it's trying to squeeze on him, I think I want to try and grapple one of its paws and yank it back.
Ooh. So you want to try and, as they
Outstrip
say
the
in
bear.
the history books, grapple with this bear.
I do.
All right, give me that roll. Now, are you doing with your semblance?
You're
Hold
cutting
it.
out a lot, Sakura.
You're going Robo Sakura.
Are you doing this with your semblance?
Yeah, I definitely am.
All right, roll your semblance. Nice.
Boy.
It is, and it is just enough to do something otherwise impossible with the powers that reside within you. As you begin to pry, you just pull on your chain, just trying to really wrench this thing back. And as you're
Yeah.
struggling with all of your might, even though it's not so much a strength, just like sheer force of semblance.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely subtract 1 from your aura while doing this. As you pull and something is just... You're forcing yourself to do this at this point as you yank, but you do yank that hand apart.
Alright.
The grip loosens. And Suvi, you are now falling very fast. Very, very, very fast.
Oh, boy.
Towards the ground. You most certainly, in this sense, can either resist or use your semblance. There's no real dodging in this sense. Can't dodge the ground. The ground's
But I
there.
can use my wind element.
You can, so you can either just splat and hope that you resist it, or you can wind right out of there.
The defense semblance.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm still disadvantaged.
At this point you're not really that disoriented, so no, just a flat roll.
Okay, as like once everything happens at once, I'm gonna do something stupidly crazy.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
So
Alright. I'm gonna tell you right now, the ground's DC isn't that high.
no. So here's the thing, with my like wind element, I'm pushing myself up. Do you see what I'm doing?
I do. I see it. So if you're going to whoosh up,
Like as far as I can push, all the
Oh.
way in the sky.
all right, that adds just a bit more complexity to this roll.
Yep.
Okay, so you definitely didn't hit it with that, but now you get to roll your will and add the secondary attribute, which in this case would be your. Tell me exactly how you're going about this, because I'll tell you what the other attribute is depending on that.
Okay, so in this instance, whenever it lets me go, my whole situation I'm doing with it is using the wind power to launch me up as far as I can get. And when it's my turn, I'm launching my bitch ass back down and switching my weapon into sword and doing a little tornado slash.
Okay.
Red
I hope
like
you're prepared for
roses.
that. This is going to be incredible if you hit that DC.
Soccer, I think this deserves another roll of gold dice.
No, you're at that. This is where the second.
Soccer!
This is where the second one will come in. I feel like it's saying that the 1 was just like the max. We'll say that the 2 is just there because this thing is an elder
But
and it's
Soccer,
very smart.
though.
No. You're pretty great students that have graduated, but you're not that great.
Okay, fine.
But as you're going about this and you're swooshing up, you definitely get pretty high. Not as high as you would otherwise expect to be, but you're definitely up there. But before you do anything else, it is still your turn, Frosh.
Okay.
As you see Suvi just jet upwards.
Alright, well, I'm gonna breathe a small sigh of relief that he's out of immediate danger, and I'm going to, what is the bear doing right now?
The
Bean mash.
bear is, as its hand is being pried open, it is actually looking to you to, it's holding on to that chain.
Okay. In that case, I'm like almost out of dust. So, in fact, I think I am out of dust at this point because I shot the single shot before. But can I use my semblance to just like, since it's got its hand all tangled up in the chains, can I just try to like freeze it a little bit? Like use the semblance to chill its arm? Because like if I can just kind of numb it, basically, that would probably make it a little bit less able to swipe at us.
Definitely the case. Very much so. Very much so.
So should I just roll semblance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
Bloop.
All right. Excuse me. As you go and you cause this thing to start freezing some more, you definitely see as your effects are starting to get onto this thing, as you freeze its hand, like its paw is frozen.
Good.
As it was trying to hold onto you, frozen into a fist with your chain there, stuck in its grip.
Great.
And it's stuck there at the moment, as it is, oddly enough, not looking at Subi. It's one good eye centered on you.
Yeah, I can't imagine why. I'm just gonna shrug at the bear and be like, "What?"
Well, howdy. Do you want to play cards?
Looks
It
like I
definitely
caught the
does.
cat.
You did. But as you see that same smile hasn't actually left its face in all of the things that have happened thus far.
That's slightly concerning.
Just a bit. Very much so. Tell me what you do next, if there's anything else that you can do.
Since it has my weapon,
I mean, you have your stick. You just have it has your chain on it from your semblance.
Well,
Maintaining that icy hold.
because the other half of my weapon isn't really intended for attacking; it's more for healing.
Listen, There's call a thing of improvisation.
I mean, I could try to like strangle it with the bandages, but that probably wouldn't work out super well. So.
You heal the enemy. It's just like, thanks. You know, I changed my mind. Life's really for living. Goodbye.
I mean, I'd be okay with that resolution.
Grimm aren't like that though.
But how will we know if we don't try?
They are literally manifestations of darkness. I don't think that's how that works.
But has
I
anyone
mean-
ever had a conversation with one?
One person has.
Yes, and then you know what happened to them?
What?
They died.
They became best friends
No.
and lived happily ever after?
No.
Are you sure
They
though?
They lived happily for a while. Wasn't ever after though.
Yeah, there
Stay
was.
for a while. That's pretty good.
Okay, you know who's the action? Never mind, I can't even bring that up. Shit.
Yeah, listen, I'm just speaking very,
Alright,
generally.
fine. I won't make friends with the bear, even though I really want to.
You
I
can't.
mean, that's.
It has no
Yeah.
remorse.
It doesn't have the act of remorse or feeling bad for it's what it's done. It is an animal, though. It can be scared away, and it can, in fact, be not so much tamed. But perhaps if you roll high enough, there is a means of pacification that you, and only you, may be able to do. It's a gamble, though. It's a big
Okay.
gamble.
Well, what would I would need to roll for this gamble?
You feeling like gambling?
I do.
Ah.
Because I want to
Okay.
save Suvi and not let him get eaten by the bear.
No, I'm about to do
Also
something
not
cool. The
me.
fuck you mean?
I
Oh,
mean, the bear was
focus.
just hugging you a second ago, so like.
Listen, the
It's-
bear's focused on you right now. I know what I'm doing.
Alright.
It is an opposing thing, as it does have a bit of a grin on its face. You can tell that this thing is fairly intelligent. So I'll tell you how it is, right?
Okay.
One, give me the tech to see if you think that this thing is smart enough to know what you're about to do
Alright.
to it. It's pretty smart. It's fairly smart. As it regards you, it's more so studying you than it is just looking at you like I mean, you are the next meal, but it's looking at you in the sense of trying to understand.
Okay, that's
Precisely
good.
what you
That's a
Um,
positive thing.
And I will tell you right now, because of
Mhm.
how your semblance is, in the sense of how it is both something to harm and something to heal. You roll high enough with it,
Mhm.
with the idea of healing it. There's a chance. This is a chance. I will say
Yeah.
that, and I will stress that.
Okay.
I'm not stopping my action. I'm just.
That it will pause its otherwise onslaught on the both of you, and it will retreat off to some unknown location.
Sounds good to me.
It will pull a Godzilla and go out to the sea.
That's a terrible
Okay,
idea.
perfect.
No, that's a terrible idea.
That's a great idea.
There's like a few like towns or whatever.
Okay, there have been few actual instances where Grimm were let go, and then they came back and killed those said people. So you have to confirm the kill.
I mean,
Hey.
I'm not gonna stop what you're doing, but if I can get
Hey.
it to like turn around and turn tail.
I'm gonna
You
die then.
have- The ball is in your court, alright? And I'm gonna tell you right now, depending on that roll, if you get high enough, you wholeheartedly do as I mentioned. That
Alright.
thing regards you as a worthy prey and moves on
Okay.
until it is scared by Suvi, and then the whole thing starts over
Yeah.
again.
Perfect.
So, you can, as you see, Suvi looks like he is about to do something very dangerous to this thing. You have the option of holding on to this and waiting for Suvi, or just going for it right now and gambling.
I'm gonna try right now,
Oh,
and then I see Suvi's thinking his way. So, listen, I'm strategizing. I'm strategizing. Goodness.
Don't worry, I won't say that it heals from this. All right, I won't say that. It's an effect of influence. And we will see.
Well, that
We will see.
terminology, that's a bullshit.
We live in a different day and age.
I'll fight you. I'll fight you. I'll fight Vic. I'll fight anyone.
Why are you so cold?
He's a hunter.
That's true.
And you're a huntress. I'm just saying.
She's a healer.
Well,
Huntress.
she's...
I'm a
healer.
teacher.
That's a huntress still, darling. A
Hey,
huntress
I mean,
is...
Think about it, Vincent.
No. I mean,
Think about it.
I've
a
come-
wild boar was captured and used as a practice dummy in a school situation.
Because they know the hunters and huntresses, because they have it set where at least
How'd they keep it alive?
they've kept
How'd
it
they
in
keep it
cage.
there?
Because
Uh-huh.
they engaged it.
They caged it.
Because they don't
Animals die if
necessarily...
They're not fed.
I mean, that's true, but that means they have to at least keep a fresh one. So that means they keep cannon fodder base Grimm then, in that instance, around. If they know they can handle it, they're going to leave them alone to keep the natural order of things. If you keep killing what's going to respawn anyways, that doesn't make sense.
And, you know, I'm glad you understand that. Please make your roll, Frosh.
Okay, so what will that be?
So, that is going to be full on will at this point in time, unless you fail.
Okay. So I just check it and then skill roll.
Yes, very.
I feel like that's so many dice.
It
Screw
is.
it, all the dice.
That's a lot of dice right there. That is plus 4, plus 3, plus 2. Yeah, that's all. That's all the dice right there.
Throw it in then.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, that was it. That was all of it. That was her semblance. So you get to roll.
Mm-hmm.
Not the same roll again, correct? But you get to try. This is not an addition to it. This is its own roll altogether. To give.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it is your will
Mm-hmm.
plus your. We'll say plus your perception.
Okay. Let's see here. I have to go back over to the sheets. So, will and perception, that'd be influence.
Wow.
Look, I have to deal with students all day. I am very good at influencing young minds.
And apparently old minds as well.
Yeah, Ursas are
Um,
basically teenagers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the ones that are not as big as this, yeah. It's,
Well, this was nice. I'm gonna lay in my bed now. I'll be back.
Vincent, you get back here.
Bye.
So, as you see this thing, and for a moment, there is a sense of recognition. There is a genuine recognition, and it looks as though it is simply going to leave the both of you be, as you can tell that at least its intent has already been met. A lot of what it came here to do is already probably done.
He just
Called
wanted to
on
be a
by-
big jerk and like slap us a little bit. You know, fair thing.
Well, you noticed that this thing was around and it was
Mhm.
coming through here. It probably is the cause of a lot of these skeletal remains, or was drawn here by the other Grimm. One of the two.
I choose to believe the second one. He was like, "What are all these other friends doing here?"
And then he saw you kill all of his friends. He was like, "Well, I guess
I guess we gotta fight now.
guess we gotta brawl."
But I'm like, no, 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 no. No
So,
brawling.
as you infect this creature with genuine goodwill, we'll say, it looks as though it is breaking off. But as up above it, you look and you see Suvi starting to spiral into a sort of tornado.
Wait.
Suvi.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're laying down. I guess I'll just skip to the turn.
Screw you. Screw you.
I can't hear you all over the way.
I will fucking fight you.
Oh my goodness.
So I launched myself once to at least get to where I was at. And since I have 3 actions, guess what's happening? I'm doing it again. I'm going higher.
There's semblance rolling.
Because
The higher you get up into the sky, the harder it gets, just so you know, DC wise. So be careful.
I'm doing it. I don't give a fuck.
Roll the first one.
Alright, so for the first one, and it's none.
Pure will, no advantage, disadvantage.
Because I'm
Would
just
you like
launching.
to empower that?
Yes.
Alright, subtract from your aura.
Oh, okay.
It'll do it by itself. Hit the
Ah.
empower button. You spin 1 aura to get 32. That's all you need to get higher. Alright. And with your next action, as you continue, and on the ground, Frosh, you can just see Suvi spinning around, getting higher and higher, sending this tornado of sorts.
And I'm just keeping the bear's attention, waving to it and being like, "Alright, later, friend."
It is looking for a way to smash its hand against one of the buildings to free it. From
Sorry
your
about freezing you, friend.
frozen things. The ice that was on its feet begins to melt. It's a very nice thing, you know. You think maybe this is what Winnie the Pooh felt like.
Aw.
But
No, I can't think of him as anything but Winnie the Pooh. And I'm gonna
he
pretend
has
one
to
of those.
die!
I'm sad though.
He's killed people before. Zucker literally just said there was a bunch of bones of human and faunus on it. It is the manifestation of
I'm gonna make
of
this
death.
political. So he's sea shipping.
You said
Go on.
Suvi.
I'm just gonna go back down because I didn't see her do this shit.
You did not. You were ascending heights and preparing to do something awesome.
As
It's okay, I set up for you.
as
And we'll switch gears here.
as whenever I
Music change. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh.
give me a sec.
Yeah. I'm into this.
Yes. As we ascend and begin to descend with this whirlwind of dust kicking up, and spinning around very wildly, Suvi is coming back down.
Yep. And I'm just like, as soon as I do that, like I push it, then I push my semblance again for the down push.
You do.
Yup.
Bigger.
And empowered.
So you would have failed. I'll tell you right now. Right then and there. But you see that? You definitely pass with that. As you begin to spiral downwards, and it begins to swell up and make that attack that you're trying to go for?
It's just one swing, one
It is.
punch, man. It's not a punch. I would have.
One punch, man.
I'm just going. I'm spiraling down to at least cut this fool. As I'm
Hey.
just going to a single stance.
It's all you.
And then it's still none, right?
Yeah. There's none to this.
All right.
Technically, you'd be at a disadvantage, but I'm just curious as to how this will end up.
RNG.
It's a pretty
RNG.
hard skull.
RNG. 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 Go!
Woo.
Yeah.
RNG hates you. No, I was kidding.
I was like, fuck.
Roll that damage. You pass.
Woo!
So, as the wind kicks up in this giant tornado right above its head, and it's turning around to leave, looks up one last time, and it's coming down like a tornado-esque bullet. Suvi, roll that damage.
Ooh.
Alright.
Yeah!
How much is that?
That's 17
Oh.
damage.
Oh no, I meant overall to this thing.
A lot.
Oh.
I did like 16 earlier.
You did. These things get really powerful. They have to win. You both are like superhuman. So, as you crash straight down into this thing's head with all the force that you can possibly muster, just slamming down the impact, causing a sort of shockwave as your katana pierces through its skull and just kind of makes a crack and an indent. As the dust settles and you've slammed into it, finding your feet onto this thing's head. The dust settles. And you look to this thing, expecting it to keel over. In fact, you find a sense of triumph in it.
God damn it.
And a red eye ignites once again in fury.
As I just give this heaviest sigh, I'm like, ah, fuck.
This music was appropriate.
It was.
So, now it's its turn.
Ah, fuck.
I don't even think I have to explain to you what's coming up behind you as you see the shadow of the Colossus closing down on you. And as it does so, you definitely have a chance to avoid this, resist it, or much like the wind, disperse.
Dispersing would probably be good right about now.
Probably would.
Mm,
But Tix, it's up to you.
fine, I'm using my semblance to at least get out of dodge. I'm gonna take that other
Remember.
fucking eye.
This is that disadvantage. Let's go ahead.
I'm dead.
Not dead. That you sure ain't feeling good after this. So you've caused this thing to have the worst migraine in history. Probably scramble whatever brains it does have, as it is just full in a fury. It hits you for 8. How's your aura?
Gone. That I was at 6.
So it breaks, and you see as the glow that's usually on Suvi, this bright blue glow that just kind of illuminates him, starts to crackle and then snaps.
Oh, no.
However, as it does this, and it splats you onto it, you get to try and resist again. Not so much resist, but break free. As, once again, in some sort of strange deja vu, you are back in its clutches.
Oh my god.
And it
I'm
holds you.
dead. I have 1 health.
No, you are not.
I have 1 health. If it squeezes me even gently, I'm dead.
You are
That's what I'm here for.
in the palm of its hand. Like
Disadvantage.
it is playing with you. No. Flat roll. In fact, because its hand is open, you actually get out. You do. Oddly enough, it isn't holding too tight on you. In fact, it almost feels though it lets you actually use the tech. Do that. I'm going to shut up. Yeah, feels like it's letting you go. And you escape off of its out of its grasp, and you're just there in the palm of its hand looking up at this thing as it looks down at you and regards you. You see the crack in its head starting to spread out. And this helmet-like skull begins to crack, and you see as it falls apart the face of this bear that's fur is like that of the void, and one red eye staring at you, unblinking, centered on you with this little dot in the center.
I'm kind of feeling a tad like just worn, as I'm just holding on to just the hilts of my weapon and my blade.
It
Just-
uses its action. Your blade was kind of lodged into its skull,
Oh,
but it uses its action. Plucks it out, just yanks that thing out as it falls. The whole thing just falls apart.
Oh my goodness.
Drops it onto its hand. For a split second, you think it's about to lower you in classic gentle giant fashion, and it doesn't. It picks you, it holds you, and it throws you at FRSH.
Oh my god.
you better fucking catch me. Anything
I'm
can
gonna
kill me.
try. I'm
Anything's gonna
try.
kill me.
It's okay. I'm very good at grabbing things.
If I'm at 0, I'm dead.
You're fine. I'm gonna bandage you up real good after this.
There are actually things to happen at 0. You don't just die. However, as it's throwing you, FRSH, tell me exactly how you're trying to catch Suvi.
I'm going to use the bandage side of my weapon and just try to like wrap him up in it so I can yank him to me.
Roll semblance.
All right.
And you have advantage at this.
Woo.
Okay, that is just enough to make it. You two and your 36s, I swear. The things you do.
It's because
So-
the bases we picked, like mine at least
Mhm.
has the bases of because it's speed. A lot of my stuff requires it.
Yes, and I've come to the understanding that I'll save that for later. Anyhow, as you catch Suvi, your healing semblance, we didn't discuss how much it actually heals for.
No, we didn't.
Time to roll for it to give a ballpark. I just need 3. I just need 3.
We'll say for this instance, if you want to, right?
Mhm.
So you have the option of rolling 3d6 for this, just using all of your action to heal Suvi as you catch him,
Okay.
or rolling just the 1 for catching him and then using your semblance to heal him, or 2.
Well, I mean, I have to catch him so he doesn't go flying away.
You caught him. It's just how many d6 you're willing to actions you're willing to put into this to just.
I mean, I want to
Heal.
get him healed up, so as many as I can.
All right. So roll
3d6.
3d6.
Bleep.
All right. Max your HP, I believe, and then add the remaining to your aura. Suvi.
Wait, what?
Max your HP to its original number, and then put the remaining in your aura.
And as I'm doing this, I'm just going to say, gotcha.
It's a good thing that you asked for reinforcements, because you probably would have done it.
You're not wrong.
This was a testing phase for all three of us. See how much you could all handle on your own.
We've given him too much information. He's too powerful now.
I can handle it. I can do it. I'm a
Um,
huntsman. I have my pride, damn it.
You do.
All over the floor.
Oh.
It's okay. I'm here to back you up.
As it's crumbling down, the thing retracts its hands. Actually, as it finally, its hand finally thaws, coming back to your turn, and it folds them both, one paw over the other as it crosses its arms. It waits patiently.
I'm just gonna look to it and shrug and be like, if you still want to go, now's the time.
It can't move. It is Subi's turn. Somehow, threads of fate will not let this thing leave. It's like it's stuck in some sort of turn order.
Oh no.
I'm gonna fight it again. I'm just saying, it's Dragon Ball Z logic.
Hey, go out there, Goku, and be somebody. Would it make you more of a cheetah in this sense?
No, I'm more like
I don't know.
Gohan at this point.
Okay.
It's okay.
'Cause
You'll
that's
grow up to be
insulting.
big and strong.
No. I peak at as a teenager.
Oh no.
Hey, back at the academy, best. You were the best. You were the do what you do what you got this, all right? You're a hunter, dang it.
Am I still wrapped up though?
No, it's Frosh lets you go. I would assume. I just
As soon
bundles
as
you
I'm
up.
done healing you.
Yeah, you just get cocooned for a moment, and then you're back. Sort of mummified, in a sense.
So I just try to pat myself down, checking if my weapons are like still even intact for how much shit that just happened.
Oh yeah, that thing's strong.
Yeah, it's a durable like relic.
It would take a lot more. It would take that thing to actively try and snap it.
As I'm just like, so
Just looks at you both. You see as you look back up, coming back to your senses and feeling just a bit better. This thing regards you and just waits for you to do what you will. You're fairly certain
I'm
through
about
that
ready to
detection
take-
that you had.
take out its other eye.
Oh my god.
You're fairly aware that it probably had every chance to literally kill you.
Ugh.
And as you go forward, what are you going to do with? Are you going to use your semblance or just long ranges?
Well, no, I'm not. It says once I detect it, and with how everything led to it, I look at it first, and then I holster my weapon, knowing that I would need more people to at least come, even though I fucking called an at everyone kind of moment, and no one else fucking came. I'm actually really mad. Out of everything else, okay, the small ones I'm fine with, The thing that pisses me off the most, that we have other fucking stations for hunters and
You
huntresses.
do.
I'm so mad.
And you don't know why they didn't come. Why didn't they come? Why wouldn't they come? As your brain starts to tick at that, what do? You let it ride?
I let it go because I know the difference between like an actual fight and someone that's toying with me.
The dust settles. And it looks banged up. Don't get me wrong. That thing looks like it's if you continue this fight, you'd probably maybe win. But as the dust begins to settle around its feet and its hands kind of just do this little wiggle like it's stuck in some old west movie, chucks down his finger guns.
Oh my god.
It begins. Walk away. And you see, for a split second on its back, Akuma.
My journey continues. Oh damn it! I was gonna make the joke, Daddy.
It's me, son, the bear.
Thought you.
And then I shoot it
thought you
several
were
times
Cash.
with the sniper rifle, constantly reloading every time.
It was you. You killed your father.
God.
So instead of having a classic Mufasa moment, yeah, the thing looks towards you once more, and then it begins to turn around, and it goes with the dust as it begins to walk. It fades from sight, and as the dust settles again, and you can see clearly, it's nowhere to be found.
I sigh and just sit on the ground, and I'm like, ugh. Why in the hell didn't anyone else answer? As I pull up my scroll, my tail just
So-
kind of all floofed up.
As you pull up your scroll, and just out of curiosity, Frosh, do you do so as well?
I will. I'm curious too. You know, we've been through this life and death struggle, and I'm like,
Multiple
you know.
occasions.
So I'm just gonna leave the Old West Bear alone for a second.
Dang, I miss that music already.
Just watch Trigon.
But keep in mind as you're spending this time to do so, just kind of collecting yourselves before you look. Also, lower your rule of cool dice back down to 0.
What do you mean? Just leave it at max forever?
Damn it.
No,
Damn it.
it only lasts for the scene, but hey, that was a heck of a scene.
It was.
I'm still upset.
You fought remarkably, and I will tell you again, if you kept fighting, you may have won. You could have just full on reviewed that and just been like, well, thanks for being a good sport, now die.
I mean, I could have, but
Could have.
at
But
that
you're a
point,
hunter.
yeah,
And you have your pride.
on the
You'll
floor.
come back to it. You'll come back to this. You did fight other things in the middle of this, so, you know, maybe they just wore you down for Frieza. But as you've sat through this for an hour, you get all of your points back. They reset. You're able to reload. It's fine. All that stuff resets.
I'll probably put my single bullet into the thing and reload it.
Mhm. And as you both do this and get this breather, you look onto your scrolls, and you've been getting warning messages all this time. You've been in the middle of a fight, and it hasn't been the first thing on your mind. It's not something I was going to ask either, just wondering if at any point. If you asked, I probably would have told you, but you never asked.
Because the fight was there.
Yep.
A hunter always
But-
finishes the fight.
Yes. But as you look now, there are several alerts that you have been missing. You've got...
Bless
Bless
you.
you.
Thank God.
You've gotten reports that the town, or the city of Topaz, has actually been attacked by a large swell of Atlas people, hunters and huntresses from Atlas. More so like militarized troops than like full-on hunters and huntresses. They're
Like,
just like
the robot
full-on-
soldiers?
They do have robots. Those are with them.
Fuck.
But more so just like people too, like troops. Not a lot of faunus in a lot of them. But ironically, being led by a faunus with one ear, they look to be a wolf. You see that they are this red-haired wolf man in a very nice and clean blue, sort of dark navy blue suit.
My
And-
pride.
Not on the first day. You see that the assault is being led. Topaz is fighting back, of course, and the fight is at a stalemate at this point in time. There's also up near the temple of, and I haven't actually named this in the Wildlands, but I'll just show it to you basically. The temple of, just call it like the temple. I wanted to say Hope, but then I was like, nah, I don't want to give Hope a temple. She already has too much power as is. I don't need to give her more.
That's fair.
The Temple of Warriors? Temple of Heroes? Temple of Light? Temple
Light's dumb. Darkness is silly.
of... Temple of Happiness.
Temple of Truth. Call
Okay.
it that. There is in the Wildlands in that area. There is a sort of just like a gargantuan Grimm that came in from the sea that is terrorizing the people there, and all of the majority of the hunters and huntresses have gone there. A lot of the veterans are there, and you've gotten many calls for assistance from all over Bastion to aid in this.
And this is just
And-
after I left to get Subi?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
As you were touching down at the Grimm, roughly around the time that you had just vaulted yourself over to where Suvi was around the time that this started happening. At least the notifications started blaring in. It seems someone is messing with your communications. You have gotten a notification from a gate, which is the town closest to Mount Terror. And it seems this large winged creature is attacking the town, and the rest of the hunters and huntresses have gone there, and the naval units are doing battle with it. You don't have giant mechanized warriors like Atlas does, so not as easy a thing to deal with.
Yeah.
Just more
And
work.
just all over Bastion, you're getting these reports, except for at Foggate. So far, it's the only place that has yet to be, and mention that. And as you're scrolling through, you see that at Foggate Academy, something else is brewing. You don't get the full message. It looks like the transmission comes in kind of broken, but have arrived. Breach are the only words that you get, and you're given a ask for or it's sort of a message to ask for assistance from any hunters in the area to return to Foggate. And so that's kind of happening everywhere.
Oh my.
And as you come to the realization, sitting here out on the outskirts of the ruin,
Combat skirt.
you notice that around you, where there would normally be probably Grimm somewhere, you'd see them somewhere. You don't see them right here. You don't see them anywhere around you. As you look around, you don't even sort of hear the sounds of animals in the nearby vicinity.
Hmm.
It's oddly quiet. The only sound is dust blowing in the wind. And the blaring of your scrolls as you see all of these many things that you may have to take care of as, responsible hunters would.
I sigh. One thing leading to a frickin' another. I look
Alright.
at.
And we'll deal with it one thing at a time.
Well, what about your students? As I pat myself down, standing back up. Looks like they need their teacher.
Yeah, I'd better get back. What are you going to do?
Do my job. As I unholster my weapon again and have it switched into the rifle form. There's a couple places I need to go, but go see with the headmaster. Because we need to also figure out what's jamming the communications if we're now just receiving this.
Speaking of which, give me detect the both of you.
Okay.
I was curious if you noticed this or not. I mean, with your giant eyeballs and big dice, I'm sure that you
Advantage or disadvantage? Or none?
will. Neither.
Okay. Fuck. Of
Don't
course.
have big eyeballs for once. What?
I used all of my eyeballs earlier.
All those rolls are just like, can't crit all the time, but boy, when you need to. So, as you're looking around, you're not so much looking around as you're saying this and you're getting prepared to go your separate ways, or perhaps continue together to just take care of these things one by one. Frosh,
Mhm.
you notice something as you and Suvi are talking. It's not Grimm, but as you look and your eyes, it almost seems like it's just a mirage with how but as your eyes adjust, you see what looks to be another hunter's launcher.
Oh.
Their pod.
Hmm.
This one looks more so like the kind you would see, kind of like a very expensive looking car. It's kind of modeled like that, and it's sort of crash landed into the ground, and it's basically kind of submerged. You can only see like the roof of the vehicle, and you see someone on the inside banging and trying to get out, but their fists are just very soft at this point. It's like they're probably losing oxygen at this point.
Oh. I'm just gonna look over to Suvi and then make my way to the pod and can I see who's inside? Is there like a window?
I have
There
my.
is.
Okay.
And you have your what? Your
Oh.
scope?
Yeah, no, I point my gun at it just in case.
As you do so, as you're running over Frosh, you both see this in different perspectives, but you see a man with green, sort of very dark green hair, and glasses. and he looks like he's in sort of scholarly clothing. And he's very defiantly but weakly slamming a fist against one of the windows. It's just not breaking. You see, like, there's a crack on it, but besides
Mhm.
that,
Oh dear.
he didn't make enough purchase. And as his hand slides down, you can see that the man is just kind of falling unconscious as you rush over Frosh. You see that this man is there's no dust and sand inside, but
Mhm.
they are without any form of oxygen, and they've passed out.
I'm gonna try and pry open the lid of it, or if there's like an obvious release mechanism, I'll use that.
You can give me break if you want to try. There doesn't look like there's something like the handles of the doors are submerged underneath, so you could try and dig them out and then try it that way. But if you want to just
let me see, what would break be? Strength. I mean,
a weapon attack or just trying to break it.
if I can go for a weapon attack instead, that'd probably be better because my strength is baby arms. So,
So as opposed to baby arms, you can
Yeah.
definitely try
I showed up the
to-
glass.
Okay.
I'm
Make
being-
that shot.
I'm getting
Alright.
ready to pull back and hit it with my whip.
Both of you make that attack. It's alright. It's a done deal. Go for it. So
Oh.
ranged attack, ranged and melee attack. You. I'm not even point in doing the damage. But you know what? For the sake of how broken this man's pod
Mhm.
gets, just roll me damage. I'm curious now.
Hooray.
Okay, so that is.
He doesn't get to have a pod anymore.
Listen, we need to free a man that's encased in a
He was
jank-
dying.
I don't care. I was.
Fine. You
Mhm.
both did what good hunters and huntresses do: save people. And right now, as you break apart a large portion of this man's pod in his car pod,
Podcast?
something like that. You see that he, as oxygen finally returns somewhat to him, he takes a very sharp, and he looks very surprised. He looks at everything, the broken vehicle. Did you use your chain or just like the stun?
Oh, the chain.
So
I use the chain when I'm attacking.
So he sees you with your chain whip kind of deal going on, and off in the distance the shine of Suvi's rifle. And he just begins, oh, well, better late than never. As he dusts himself off and he rights himself, just kind of like one fell swoop upwards, kind of deal, and he just dusts himself off very quickly. What was I doing? I was doing something. Lack of oxygen, as he looks to you, Frost, is very, very
bad
unbecoming.
for you.
Yes, that
Not
too.
to.
Very bad. Very bad for your mental health. What was it? It was something. I was here for something, reason. Put it together. You got this. So, I was on my way to assist is your name... Wait, no, hold on. Wait, I know you. Yes.
And do I know this person?
Yes, this would be, he doesn't work at the academy anymore, as he's kind of been going around the various parts of Bastion and actually kind of sailing around towards the other lands. You would know this as the once professor, is it? It's not Rhinestone. It's something with an R, and I had it. Hold on. Where's
Professor
your R?
Rihanna?
Nope. It's a God darn it.
Well, as long as you're not saying oobleck.
Oh, I'm dumb. Reginald.
Reginald.
It's Reginald.
Yeah.
Professor Reginald, he was actually the history teacher of sorts. The history
Oh.
of the Grimm and how dust functions for the newer students, and sort of explaining how Bastion came to be. And you know that at some point in time, you didn't know that he actually arrived back, but he had left to go to Vale. Not Vale. What was it called? Mistral. As they have these gigantic libraries filled with knowledge, and that's just like paradise for him.
Yep.
And he looks to you. My word, I am so sorry. Rosh, this is so nice to see you again.
Good to see
Bad
you
situation,
too.
And as he kind of peers over, would that be Suvi?
Yep.
Yes.
I put another bullet in, and then I holster my weapon. Good to see you. What are you?
Old chap, Suvia Craw, you look wonderful.
Please flatter me some more as I pat down my beat-up clothes. So, why are you in this? As I kick the thing.
Well, keep in mind, bit embarrassing. I'm going to tell you, and I want you not to laugh. Correct? Yes? Good? Wonderful. Thank you for agreeing. So,
I didn't say anything.
was on the way to assist you, and I came here to dispatch justice to the Grimm and possibly find out anything I could about these ruins out here. But as I was hot on the way, a giant, and he tells you that a giant. He knows I don't. I'm bad at this because it's been a while since I've heard this thing's name, and I want to call it something else because
Yes.
Dungeons and Dragons, but not Dungeons and
A
Dragons.
beholder.
No,
Okay.
he would have been dead.
What does it look like?
Right.
Oh, it is what I expected it to
A
be. I'm
griffin?
dumb. Wyvern.
Oh,
Wyvern.
oh yeah, they have
A
wyverns.
wyvern.
Yeah, so I expect to myself, no, that's crazy. They don't have. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
So
That was literally the end of the fall of Beacon.
so a wyvern. He begins
Yeah.
telling you. This wyvern, out of nowhere, and very much out of season, was on a collision course with me. And
Really? A wyvern here?
yes, it was heading towards Mount Terror.
Oh.
Most likely to roost. Maybe it's very out of season. It's very strange. It shouldn't be here.
Do I know much about that? Like, I assume I kind of know the area generally, but especially with the students, I need to be aware of like threats that might show up.
You definitely do. I'll tell you just like the small bits of it, just like the very short description. They're thought to actually be very long extinct. This kind of Grimm is literally the stuff of legends. Wyverns just running around. What is that? Where it goes, infinite amounts of disaster follow. Since Grimm are usually drawn to negative emotion, most oftentimes, side of this sort of monster, like this creature itself, causes a level of despair that would inevitably lead to a massive influx of Grimm, which, as he's mentioning this, you're starting to put some of the pieces together as to why, those Grimm showed up attacking Suvi and, well, got into a big skerfuffle with an Ursa that, honestly, as you looked at it, that was not at all a normal one. And they usually come in packs. Thankfully for you, there wasn't two of that.
Last time I checked, they weren't that big.
Yeah, they're not. But this one was definitely bigger than the normal ones. So, as he begins explaining this, I saw the thing and I kind of felt in my own right to be just a tad adventurous, and I saw it going there, and I saw that it would most likely cause some form of danger, and well, as he rubs his head, I tried to attack the thing, and well,
In your pod?
ended here. I tried to land the pod onto its back. It was weird, but I felt it was necessary. I also wanted to just kind of give it a go.
I
Honestly.
stare at him. Alright, are you still combat ready, old man?
And he just slaps you on the shoulder. Of course I am. These bones were made to break other things. Look at I'm the stuff of sturdy. As he hits his chest, he just almost knocks the wind out of himself.
So I put my hand on my face and like, this is why we gotta...
Must have been a lot of dust in the air.
I look at him. Point still stands is we have a couple of locations we have to go right now.
He flips out this sort of great swordish kind of thing and spins it about. Slams into the wasn't thinking about this part, but he slams it into the floor of the car because it's broken at this point. And he looks to you. Well then, let's be off, shall we? And don't worry, I won't steal all of your glory, just some of it. Enough for the history books.
I sigh. I'm not here about history. I'm more worried about how things are. With how things
Well-
are, let's at least have to have a moment to pause, because right now, we're being attacked in multiple directions, and the Grimm are going to get hungry for
What
that negative
Do
emotion.
you mean multiple directions?
I kind of take out my my scroll to show what's the requests for backup in multiple locations.
You see that his is broken, by the way. Like the thing is...
Well, I just gave up at that point, trying to at least humoring him as
you shot it. You see that there's a hole in it.
as I just show him mine to show
Uh.
that there's been requests for backup in multiple locations, and I bring up the point that the academy is in danger, so Frosh has to take the has to focus on heading back to her students because they are the future.
Yep.
Well, of course, that's obvious. As he looks to you, well, here's the thing, right? We have that, and I know that creature is still flying off. As he just kind of looks up, doesn't see it, and scouring the skies for it.
Mm-hmm.
That creature is definitely going to kill a lot of people if we do not stop it. And it's not going to stop until they're all dead. And that's a big issue all on its own, isn't it? So, he looks to you, Frosh.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you all of the luck that I possibly can, and I hope that it's not as grave an issue as I expect. Perhaps maybe some guards got sloppy in the time that I've been away, and I'll soon. But perhaps it is just some Grimm that have gotten near the walls. I do, however, as he looks, he kind of just closes in a spectacle onto your scroll, Suvi, and he looks towards the information about some big battle happening next to the Temple of Truth. I am uncertain as to which would be more devastating, honestly. Losing such a historical place as the temple, home to so many that are incapable of defending themselves, or losing my home in a gate. I want to be selfish here, but as he looks to you, Suvi, what do you think?
Right now, I'm a little bit more wanting to see if we can get some kind of relay to any of the younger hunter and huntresses. Because worst case scenario, we have to rely on them to at least defend their academy. To bring up their blades. To at least defend for themselves. Because I'm sorry, but even the old will soon turn to dust anyways. We have to let them grow up now than later.
He looks to himself and he just takes slight offense to that. I'll have you know, the old sometimes don't just become elemental spirits, alright? I'll have you know that we get very old, and then we turn to dust. Not just old.
I look at him, I mean, as a metaphor, meaning that our time will eventually pass. It's for them to at least stand, for them to at least fight. And right now, we need them.
Immortality, as he looks up to you. Of course, you're right. I'm glad we had this conversation. Let's go protect the young.
I put my hand on my face. I'm like just blatantly just making
I'll
this
just walk
long
over
breath.
and pet Stevie's back. It's okay.
I know these are trying times, my friend, but don't. Old Reginald has your back. Hence, well, you don't have to worry about your back. Old Reginald's got it.
I whisper to like Fresh. I could just shoot him and then say a Grimm
no shooting.
I rub my face. Okay. The point still stands is we need to get communications properly. If we can't, we can get requests, but it still means something's interfering. The one thing that's important out of all of this is this, as I point at the scroll, being able to keep communication with everyone else. That's the key thing that will at least allow us to be able to do multiple steps. If we can at least find what's either A, interfering, and B, causing all of this to happen, we'll be able to do multiple things at once, and or find any younger hunters and huntresses that are willing to take up the additional steps. Because worst case scenario is, I look to Reginald and then I look to Fresh, that we'll, like, the three of us might have to split up. And last time I checked, I don't know if we all, like, the three of us can handle what's going on right now, especially what's going on in Topaz.
Well, as far as I can tell, a lot of our fellows in the hunting game are up there in Topaz and at the temple, so perhaps down here we'll make our stand and hopefully once we make sure that Fog Gate is over, alright, we can head over to a gate and settle things there.
I look down and then I look to Fresh. What says you, leader? Remember,
Since when am I the leader?
whatever it's abbreviated in the way. You know, I like how Ruby's Ruby. It's
I don't remember
because
agreeing to this, but
the headmaster doesn't. The headmaster doesn't agree. He makes the decision, so you're the leader. As I look at it, I look at her. So what's? I'm just saying in context. Whenever they do the abbreviation,
I'm not happy about it though. I just wanted just to be the support.
Well, you're now the leader / support. So shush. As I look at you, here's all. We're just what's left of our team, and I'm not counting you out, Reginald, but.
I mean, with him, we've got our R back. Just make it a little joke.
The R stands for Reginald.
I just kind of give a heavy sigh, and I'm like, but where do you want to go? To Mount Terror, or at least go back to your kids? Because those two places seem to be of priority if we don't have to worry about going up north.
I want to go back to my kids. because I need to make sure they're safe and they can be useful. I don't know if all of them are ready to fight. In fact, I'm sure a few aren't, but we could definitely use the backup.
I look at her. If anything, we're going to teach them now. Or die trying.
Oh god.
Speak for yourself. I don't plan to die. I am going to live forever. I will find that
Of course you will, Reginald.
tome of immortality. I'm telling him this close as he just
I
pinches his
believe in you.
fingers.
I look at him. Okay, and then tell us about the story how you killed that one, like, the hog, and that you're able to hang it up. Which Grimm disappeared to dust, old man. I look at him, calling him out on his bullshit from before.
He looks to you. Listen,
Mhm.
Anyhow, let's go. And he just like hefts up his blade and he takes it and he begins walking away,
Oh,
trying to dismiss the thoughts of dying.
no.
Hey, that's Reginald.
Yes.
And he's wonderful, but I'm just gonna like soothe you and be like, yeah, he's right, we should go.
And he begins walking, and then he looks back and he begins. Right. This is a bad idea. I say that both of you, if you have means of transportation, definitely go quickly, and I will just exercise your legs. I'm just gonna run. Because I don't think we have room for two unless you have something big. Maybe.
I don't.
not heavy
Mine
set.
is very personal sized.
Mm,
As I
that
think
is
about it,
fine.
I think about mine. Does mine even still function from the last time I broke it?
Did you crash land it when you were doing all this? Is that your thing? Did you just full on just slam it into like the tower?
No.
Tell me. Now be honest. Tell me.
Okay, probably, but it fell off, alright? Originally it was supposed to land, but then it felt like it fell off accidentally and it broke, alright?
So the only one who actually has some means back is Frosh.
Not true. I still have my semblance that'll allow me to, cut that down immensely.
All that is true. So I mean,
But it's
and
based
you
off of
can-
stamina, so if
You can definitely go. I'll say that it's hard to do getting from there to right here. But you can make it. You'll just have to make me semblance to see if you can make it all the way or just get halfway. Do you take Reginald at all as he looks through? Well, time now. He starts to like jog in place. He starts to like punch, like he's getting ready for a fight. Let's see if old Reggie's got it. And he's about to go. If you're just gonna like semblance out, and your coffin is not too far off. It's like right out of just walking distance.
Mhm. I'm gonna make my way over to it, but I'm just gonna look back and be like, be safe, you two.
Of course, be there in a split.
Of course you will.
I look at him and I'm like, how heavy are you? As I close my eyes.
Lighter than air.
I look at him and then I look at his weapon and I give him the deepest glare. Don't you
I've
love it?
only put on like a couple of pounds. Come on, it's fine.
How much is a couple?
That's a good question. I mean, there was the time that I had that all-you-can-eat buffet.
Reginald, get on my back! We're going! As I
Sounds like a good time.
And he just he just grabs arms around your waist.
Let's
Oh god, this is
That sucker.
Oh, he just grabs arms around your waist and he's just like, oh
go.
I'm not a mule.
No, you're my trusted ally. Now let's ride.
Better hold on tight because this could possibly cripple you.
If I fall. There's a song for that. But let's go.
I sigh again, as I hope that my semblance can handle. Also, keeping a +1 behind me, as I get ready up my semblance.
Give yourself advantage.
Thank you.
Um,
I'd appreciate an ROC, but that's okay.
It's pretty cool.
Listen, I'm not gonna pick him up in the arms like he's a princess. I'm just saying this now.
And that's why it's not ROC. Come on. That's
Okay,
pretty
the
cool.
closest thing I was gonna do is give him a piggyback ride. And
Do
that's
it.
If you do the piggyback ride, and I quote, if you do a full-on piggyback ride, instead of advantage, you get that straight-up rule of cool.
fine, I'll do it. As I get down on one knee and I'm like, all right, if you try to like hold me by my sides, you're going to break your legs. So I kneel down.
Just he braces himself and he's just wraps around you.
As I'm
All
just, as like the weight of him and his weapon kind of make me like stagger a little.
Just a bit. Mostly the weapon. He wasn't lying. He's pretty light, but that weapon is heavy. Very, very heavy.
As I'm like, Reginald, I swear, we need to get you at least a new everything at this point.
You're right. I have to find that tome and become a younger, sprier me, and then get a new outfit. Yes, something with like leather.
I
New
stopped
things
paying.
like leather, right?
I stopped paying attention to what he says. Do I get a +1
You do.
and an advantage? You better say yes, or I'm gonna cut you.
I can't take back what I said you get, so go for it.
All right.
And then you fall. Would you like to empower them?
Yes.
Okay. So, as you bound through the air with just like lightning speed, and Frost, you get into the comfort of your coffin, and you just zoom back to the academy. You see underneath you, you see this bolts of wind just flying past the trees, leaving this sort of aftermath of air and dust here and there. But you definitely make it back before them as you come back into you're coming back towards your part in the tower, your little office. But as you're seeing this, you can see that there's no fire at the wall. However, nearest towards like the center of the city, there is what looks like the remnants of an explosion, and you can see that there are various figures down there that look to be fighting, hunters and huntresses, fighting other hunters and huntresses.
Right. Does it look like many of them are students?
Yeah, it looks like there's a couple of students caught in the crossfire and trying to defend their city, essentially. Everybody's a hero. Or a heroine.
Well, I'm going to just look around and try and assess where like I can be most useful, and then go running off in that direction.
Oh, so you change the trajectory, and you begin slamming down, and as you impact into the somewhere near the center, but more in an area, you see a lot of you see 3 students squaring off against an older woman who looks to have these sort of like beams coming out of her hands, and is just firing them off at the kids. You slam down to see one of them with what looks like this very big sort of like bubble dome, just kind of like fending off the beam, but it cracks, and you see their aura start to shatter.
But you come in at the nick of time as the woman with one hand is about to try and finish them off as they're trying to get themselves back up. And we're going to actually do some crazy initiative things. Right as you're coming in that way, Suvi, you are cutting just a beeline through the forest back to Foggate.
I'm going as fast as I can. If I can jump between trees, I am doing it. As
You
I'm
are
just getting
full
worn
on-
out.
Yes, I
Nothing's
mean,
happening. I'm gonna go use restrooms. I'll be back.
okie
Okay, doc.
dokie. As you're kind of just like Sonic the Hedgehogging your way around, you wholeheartedly begin to see Foggate, and you see that the walls are intact, and you see that as you come over the top of the wall and you skirt into the city with this like overview of everything, you can see that from the center or the centralized area of the city, there's this big fight going on. And there's various things that look like they've been blown up. But near the entrance of the city, it looks like a lot of the guards here have been otherwise dispatched, and there is two figures that are just strolling down the street, attacking anyone that gets in their way, essentially.
And like I'm stationary right now, right?
As you're just kind of gliding over, you are, but Reginald's not. As let's go, just full on lets loose off of you, falls out of the tornado, and begins to like sort of like form a ball and begin to roll down to the ground at the site of this, and he makes a little impact of like a little crater on the ground.
Oh, he did a superhero landing. Hey!
Totally did.
As that like once he hops off, I like react. I was like, "What? What are you?" As I try to like break for a moment to at least turn around to look back at where he dropped.
He dropped right behind them as the ground kind of impacts, and they look back. So you have the opportunity to get behind him if you really want to. As you hear him spinning downwards, and he's like, as he's spinning in a ball, he's like, "Hello!"
I sigh and just take out my weapon, switching it to the rifle to try to see if I can at least disable one of them real quick.
All right. So, as you come down to do that, we'll say that is an action all on its own. I'll tell you what you see, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coming into the city, as far as the city is concerned, it is, as I said before, very modernized, but it looks stylized in the form of like it came straight out of like a painting. It's very regal, but every place looks, like people have lived there and made something pretty amazing for themselves, that kind of deal. It's very homey. At this point in time, the city center is in just tatters. A bust of a famed hunter that actually the hunter that basically passed on their legacy to you. You see that the bust of that specific hunter has just been kind of like cut in half, and one side is like off into the fountain that surrounds the statue itself.
That sets me off so hardcore once I see that, because he raised me like I was his own kid before he passed.
He was a great guy. And at this moment in time, it doesn't seem like these people care anything about how great he was. As you can see, as far as they are concerned, they are definitely, at least one of them is definitely from Atlas, as you see the Atlas symbol on their shoulder. It's like this little insignia.
Mm-hmm.
And one is wearing this sort of jumpsuit-esque kind of deal with like a jacket, and you see it on his jacket. The whole thing is sort of like a mix-up mashup of gray and bits of red, like red gloves, and maybe the jumpsuit itself is red, and then like the jacket is gray. And the woman next to him is she actually has this very large hat on, kind of like some sort of witch or witch hunter, and hers is more of like a gown, like a very regal looking gown, and it has all the stylings you'd see in something of a like maybe gothic nature, or something you'd probably wear more so at like a funeral than anything else. Very regal in its nature.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go to disable him, you see that the man has what looks to be it looks like looks like a shotgun, just as it's over his shoulder, and the woman has what looks like a umbrella.
As I just try to go for the guy with the shotgun to disable.
Okay. And as you go for the guy with the shotgun, you tell me what you're trying to do here.
Well, right now I'm just trying to go for the shoulder, since hoping that it's enough force to at least knock this guy out, instead of trying to go for a full-blown kill.
Okay, so roll me that semblance. And in this particular instance, it's just a flat roll.
Oh, I'm doing semblance? I thought I was going to shoot him in the arm.
Oh, you're shooting him?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're winging him, just roll me the range attack.
Okay. You know what? No, I'm gonna go up to the back of this guy's fucking head and kick him as, like, in the back of the head, hoping to knock him the literal fuck out with my semblance.
All right. Now that's a thing. Higher difficulty though, I'll tell you now, between the two of them. But go for it. If you're full on and invested in it.
Yes, but do I get to get an ROC with that back of the head
for
kick?
the roll cool?
Yes.
You have the one at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say that since you did kind of fly into a rage at this, yeah, for what's about to happen, you'll probably need it.
Good. So now I have two.
But with that, it's just a flat roll. No disadvantage or advantage.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take that. As, once, like, I just see red, I just use my semblance with all of its strength.
Okay. That is definitely enough to rush into this person. And you...
And then I just, once, like, I rush over and just kick this guy in the back of his head as hard as I can. Because I know it's these jerk-offs that, like, hit.
So, this is going to be very, very interesting.
Technically, it would be under unarmed attack, right? In terms of martial arts.
Because you're going for an unarmed, just like full-on knee to the head?
Well, it's literally I'm kicking in the back of his head.
Yeah, so that's just, that's a melee roll.
So then I do the damage. I
And
mean,
welcome back, Vic.
There you go.
You would, since you definitely ran into him, I say, yeah, just roll the damage.
wait. The damage under. Wait.
Under melee.
Okay. Because there's melee attack and damage right beside it.
Yeah. Melee attack, and then next to it, the damage, hit that one.
Okay, so melee attack, any advantage, disadvantage?
Mm.
Okay, so none.
That's enough to hit.
Okay, applying damage now.
All right. As your foot just slams into the back of the dude's head, he staggers forward. That's gonna start everything. So, roll that really cool initiative. Yeah, it's time to dance. And Vic, roll yours as you're about to do some dances. Actually, before you roll your initiative,
Yeah.
seeing all of this, right, as you landed right where you were,
What am I saying?
you're seeing this woman with these basically hand cannons firing off towards your students.
Mhm.
They're actually students from one of your classes. And one of them was defending the others with this sort of like bubble dome shield kind of deal. And she, with kind of like the last of energy, deflects it from her friends, but as she does so, her aura fades. Like she's able to be very seriously injured at this point.
He could-
and she just kind of falls. But behind her are two other boys there. That one is it looks like he injured his arm. He's just holding it there, as in the clutched arm is what looks like a really big fist, like it's like this mechanized fist. And the other one that's kind of in front of him, is kind of like shielding him from whatever was about to happen, is another kid who has on their back what looks kind of like a bow staff. And it's just kind of yes.
Quick question: have you named all of these side characters?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want their names?
Yes, please. Because if I know them, then
Okay. So the girl is Trisha, Everbright, and the first boy with the gauntlet is he is Jake. What did I call you? Where's your name? Morningstar. Jake Morningstar, and then the boy that's like sort of like trying to shield him from the rest, and just looking towards the girl now as his hands outstretched, and it's all playing out before you. You would know him as his name is just Rock.
Rock. And what about Mr. Bowstaff?
Yeah, Mr. Bostoff is Rock. Jake is the one with the fist.
Okay, who has the shield then?
The one that was doing the bubble shield is Patricia.
Patricia. Okay, you get out there.
And yeah, that's them. You don't know who this woman is who's trying to vaporize your students.
All right. Well, she's not vaporizing anybody on my watch.
And she looks like on her actually, give me just a tech real quick.
Okay.
See if you know.
I keep forgetting I need to.
Okay, so as you study this this woman, you know that just from her posture and the state in which she carries herself, and just like how she has a sense of possible training behind that decorum, she's definitely a individual from Atlas, another huntress from Atlas. You see that as this is all happening, though, I wanted to know, in this moment, just a thing that you do as just like coming into this. Do you do anything in particular?
I mean, my immediate priority is to get Patricia to safety since her aura's like out.
So you just like yank her to you?
Yeah. Same move I did on Subi.
So roll me that and put a point of ROC, just pull it up because of what Suvi has done.
What has he done? I saw he was like kicking somebody.
In the
Yes,
back
he
of the
just-
head, as hard as fucking possible.
Alright.
But the cool part was that it was brought on by the rage that was induced when he saw that the bus that is in the center of town, and you can kind of see it too, of the huntsman that basically was a very big factor in a lot of the lives here in Foggate, and one of the people that left behind a very big legacy for Suvi. It's kind of like decimated at this point. It's cut in half in the head, and part of the shoulder just kind of in head first into like the pond that it circles around the statue.
That's why
I have no class.
exactly. That's why I kicked someone's fucking head as hard as I
Yes.
fucking could.
And that made it pretty cool. And so you have that now, and so make me that same roll that you.
So that would be like the dodge, since agility and perception.
To
To grab her with my like the bandage side of the whip.
I'll say it's just straight semblance.
Semblance? Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, just
No, I
wait.
just want to snag her. Like she kind of fell towards the ground.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, as I've popped out of my coffin and I see all this happening, I'm just going to immediately try and snatch her up and pull her to me.
Okay. So as you do so, you hoist her up and pull her over, and you heal her for.
Want me to do roll?
Just roll a d6 for this because it's
Okay.
not actually all.
Yeah,
of
I'm
your
not using
actions.
my full turn this time. So
Yeah, you're not even in your turn yet.
okay.
So you definitely heal her up, and part of her aura starts to crackle back into place. She's still not looking in the best shape, but she looks up to you. And eyes kind of flutter open just very slightly, and she just kind of clinging to your sleeve, just kind of mutters, "Please, help them." And she just falls unconscious as you say, "I will."
I was gonna make like a snappy comeback about her using too much aura, but now's not the time.
Maybe after the fight, just like, you really should take more time to just
I
like...
will 100% do that. But for now, is there anywhere I can kind of safely place her where she'll be out of immediate danger?
Your coffin's pretty safe. It's pretty
Okay.
durable.
Yeah,
Like
I'll
it-
just lay her inside there and close it up so she'll have some measure of safety. She might
Okay.
have a little claustrophobia when she wakes back up, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. She'll be able to open it back up. So now we will roll the initiative for the both of you, and I will roll for the rest.
And Reginald. Because he did a
And
superhero dive. I
He
mean,
did.
like,
He just started to
he
like,
just let
formed
go
a
of me and just action heroed. It's like
Swan dived and then formed a ball and began
roll to the ground and then just like create a crater around where he did. And the whole while he was just shouting, "Talio!" And then he just landed.
Oh my god. Alright,
Reginald's-
so how do we roll initiative?
It should be up there, right? In your skill checks.
Well, there's
Ah.
two choices
Ah,
whenever you
okay.
do the initiative.
I
So
see
it asks if there's an advantage to disadvantage, which I assume not.
Hmm.
And then initiative check, where the initiate is per plus will versus a react, which is per plus agility. So I'm understand it's the perception. Perception plus will, or the react, which is perception plus agility.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it's perception plus will then for the initiate then.
If it reads that, give me a second. I will do something real quick for the big pink sky thing.
Yes.
Big pink sky thing. All right.
Oh, and how long are we gonna keep going? I actually have work at 11 in the morning.
We
At
are
11?
coming
Oh my
to
goodness.
the end.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we need to finish up soon.
Yeah, and it's just like that.
Go.
Minutes. It was 1, 2.
Oh no.
So, I will. All right, I need.
The GM is
focus for this.
combat ready.
I was ready to fail. Ready
Oh
to fail.
no.
I will just put these here because everything is done in the sense of.
Pieces.
And I will. Next time you will see Reginald when we get back to this.
Okay.
He has to have a big old mustache though,
Oh yeah.
because the personality fits.
That was one of my favorites. I spent too much time with Reginald. So I see for one there is 24, and for the other there is 31. And I will just roll these really quick, and then we will keep that there for next time. As I roll these out. All right, so that is you. That is you. That is you. Is there anyone else? Yeah. So, I'll just keep those numbers. And I know who's going to go after whom, so I'll just add those to the order later. But now is the time. Why did it have to be ending at 4:20? I want to just keep going until it's not.
Plays it.
I don't want to place it.
We got it though. That's the rules.
But I'm losing consciousness though.
Fine. We'll
Yeah,
play.
you need to blaze it by going to bed.
All right. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you both for this
Yeah.
wonderful session, and I'm glad I was able to introduce you to a lot of things. I'm going to tell you right now, there was a roll to see if you'd run into the Akuma bear, and you totally did. And
It was a good time.
Akuma bear will return.
I was just
Hooray.
proud that I was able to do so much damage.
My bear
mean-
friend.
If it were students, they'd probably be retreating and have to be saved. Because a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. But you did it, and you pretty much almost destroyed the thing.
Damn it! I should have committed.
And then you would have died.
I'd die, but I'd still die as a champion.
No dying. It's not allowed.
He's no bueno. And besides, there'll be other moments to get that vengeance. But as that closes up, is there any further questions to ask before floofing off into the nothingness?
Just thank you for running the session, Sakura.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing more.
Yeah.
It's a definite two-parter, and if you both like it very, very, very,
I do enjoy
maybe
it.
more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, I do enjoy it. Sakura,
Yeah.
my friends, my dearest friends. I like Ruby a lot. I don't read the manga. I don't read the manga or the DC adaptation, and apparently there's some sketch stuff in that area, but whatever. But point still stands. I really like Ruby. That's why I even have the game Grimm Eclipse.
Grim Apocalypse.
Which is just a very basic hack and slash, but it's super basic.
Dang.
It is. I'm gonna be realistic. For their first attempt, it's not bad. It's just very lackluster. But I'd still be able to play it if someone asked me again to at least come back to it. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm gonna play as Jean. And no one's gonna fucking stop me from playing Jean. Or I'll cut them.
Why would they?
Exactly.
He clearly is the best boy to have on your team because he gives you a group the like big old bouncing baby buff.
Yeah.
Attack buff.
Baby buff.
Yeah. Meaning everyone does like so much more damage with his buff if you upgrade it. But it's just his a lot of his combo, like he doesn't even have any range attack. He just rushes at him, and then he has a little stun with it. He's like boop, boop. But
Hey Vincent, what character, what weapon does Suvi use?
Suvi is using a super.
It's like a part sniper rifle, part daggers or something?
No, it's a sword.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, think of it like it's basically is a big old hunking thing that's like a heavy sniper rifle. But to at least switch between gun versus sword, he has to at least switch it around where the barrel itself has to extend out, so it has enough so that there's enough space for the bullet to at least extend out from the barrel, because it needs breathing space for the barrel, so it has to extend out, and then using the blade's handle as just pretty much the guard itself. So think of the blade's handle itself as the arm guard of a normal sniper rifle. That's pretty much what he always has to do, have as his the arm guard. I mean shoulder guard. So whenever it shifts between it, he has to at least have it turn around, letting the barrel at least holster back in, and then letting it so that the be able to be in reach of the blade to extend out. So that's why it's and the thing that's usually the main handle for all of it is the scope itself. It's an old style scope, but it's pretty much like a handle itself, but at the same time it's used it's a normal scope to at least for long range fire. It's old. It's held up by a lot of things, but the scope itself has like a kind of a normal leather tape, so that whenever people are at least gripping it, it's not 100% risking the scope's being damaged itself. But it's
Being
adjustable,
damaged.
so yeah. I thought of it. I thought a lot of it because is a lot
Because
of
Ruby.
ideas. Yeah.
Also, tell me what kind of armor you wear.
I don't wear armor. It's
Mhm.
oh damn, I can't even give you
Completely
the
naked.
I can't give you the example I was gonna tell you because we haven't met him yet. But basically, my character is like wearing. Shoot, I'm trying to think of the top of my head. Well, he's obviously wearing a long white scarf that he has wrapped around his neck. And he wears a button shirt. I mean, not a button
Mhm.
shirt. It's a it's a button shirt, but it's unbuttoned because there's a under it is like a sleeveless gray shirt, and he's wearing black black khaki pants, cargo pants, so that he can easily because in the pockets themselves, holstering about 30 to 40 rounds of single single bullets for
Yes.
the sniper rifle, since it's a single fire bolt action. So every time he has to reload, he has to always pump it back out, put the bullet in, reload it back in, rinse and repeat. Because a lot of hunters and huntresses have it easy. He has it the hardest because he has to constantly keep switching to reload and add back in. Because God, I have so many more ideas with the single fire idea. Let me see. And also, he doesn't have it on him, but he
Mhm.
actually has he wears a hat.
Oh,
Like,
Big
but
floofy hat.
no, it's not a big floofy hat. It's a black hat, and it used to belong to the hunter that was, that had a bust. It belonged to him, as his name was Logan Wolfhart.
hmm.
As that was the only remaining thing, but he kept the hat back to where his old station is, so he has to remember to go to get that back. Actually, no, it's in his locker, so if we ever at least get it back, I can wear the hat finally, because
You might get it.
it's not a it's not a top hat. It's a what's the hat where it's edged, the front of it's kind of edged downwards a little.
I think that's just a cowboy hat.
No,
Very
not
stylized
it's not a cowboy hat. Shit.
Edge downward.
Yeah, it's a black hat. There's usually a white lining around it, but it's not a cowboy hat. Where it
What
curves
is the top
up.
part? What's the top part?
It's circular. It doesn't curve in.
Doesn't curve in, it's circular.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a hunter's hat, but I think those are just stylized fancy hats from days of old, like Bloodborne, but without.
What was the
any
stupid
anything.
hat that's for mostly the memes of Milady?
That's a fedora.
Fedora.
Yeah, that's what it is. It was a fedora.
Oh no.
Fedora.
You know why? Because I finally figured out the symbol. Puss in Boots is supposed to be cat head picture with hat and boots.
Oh, you mean like a Zorro hat? That's not a fedora.
Ah,
Yeah, that's a very stylized. It's some form of hat of a maybe conquistador. Maybe, let me see.
well, I was gonna just stick with a fedora because it was screw it. I'm not gonna really be too picky on the detail of the hat, but
I want it.
Fine. But he doesn't speak in the Spanish.
Okay, that's fine. You could look like Zorro, but not speak the Spanish. Well, maybe not, but it's fine. I know what you mean. I don't know the name of that hat. I think it is. Maybe Zorro just kind of. Yeah, maybe Zorro just really had that hat. Because other hats like it are basically Amish hats,
Yeah.
gaucho hats, Spanish hats. But black fedora, flat top.
I'm just
All
gonna
those
go with
things.
Fedora. Because I
Okay.
wanted to curve forward because it looks cool in my head because it's from one hunter to another. That's what was given to him as he's always.
As long as we're going like Dick Tracy fedora and not like Milady fedora.
Well, like what's the exactly difference between Dick Tracy?
Because Dick Tracy was a cool private detective from like the golden age of detective noir, and then guys who want to act all cool with their fedoras are lame. So that's the difference.
Milady.
No, I'm leaving.
Milady.
I'm leaving.
Well, okay, yeah, no, it would. You're right. It would be way closer to the Dick Tracy type of hat.
Because I mean, it's
Wow.
the same piece of headwear. It's just how you wear it and the attitude that matters.
I mean, but that's what I was gonna. Okay, so pretty much like that, but the white line. It's going to be a white line, but it's worn white, and then it's black. Like,
Hmm.
So.
I mean, as long as I get to call you Zorro.
fine, ole.
What else?
Oh, and also I'm wearing
Beating
boots. Nice.
Boots.
Cool. Yeah, like I normally do at work. Because I do wear boots nowadays.
Star Spangled Vince. I love
Yeah. So.
it. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. This is before some crazy students appear here at this specific academy.
I see.
Okay.
So yeah, this predates that.
Okay, that's fair. But that just means
Yes.
we have to complete this soon then.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just start them in the season of fall/winter, so it's fine.
Oh, so they're lucky because they don't get to face the random bullshit we're fighting right now.
Yep.
They get their own.
That's fair. But do we get to guide them at any point?
Yeah, you get to guide them in the fight against the rematch for Akuma Bear.
Yeah! I'm gonna fucking kill that bear.
I love it. At the end, I'm just gonna play Street Fighter. I'm gonna play Ryu's theme, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be nice. Not Guile. Has nothing to do with Guile. I'm gonna play Ryu's theme. I'd like to know one thing, one thing anybody actually liked about Guile aside from his weird hair.
I mean, his weird hair is all you need to say. Like,
No.
that's the best feature.
Did you really like it though? Like when you think about Guile,
I mean,
you
it's-
think about
it's
his flat
silly.
top.
It's very memorable.
I'm gonna be real. There's some people that like him because you could just play like a piece of garbage, where you could just hold the corner and if someone tries to rush you, just he does his little back
Person-wise.
kick. Oh,
Not player wise, because
Oh.
there's a lot of abuse there. But I'm talking
Mm.
about as a person.
he wasn't a bad guy. He actually ended up being a happy family
He
man.
wants to go home and be a family man.
He does in one of the
That's
Street
his
Fighter
whole
games.
thing.
Well, he also wants to avenge his friend that gets killed because of
I mean, that too,
Bison,
but, you know.
and then his friend ends up being.
Bison!
And then his friend becomes evil zombie guy that.
It's not evil. Blanca's pretty nice.
No, not Blanca. Is
Blanca's that one.
Well, there was another guy. Remember? There's two guys.
Yeah, one of them gets turned to Blanca, the other one gets turned to like it's Frankenstein.
Yeah. He was Frankenstein, and then he turned and then they have him like
and then they keep him like that. And then there's like a time. Wait, no, I'm thinking before he gets his name changed, where his name was Antonio Pantalons. Charlie Nash.
And he was not Blanca. Interesting.
Well, don't. Okay, I think the reason why is because his is also that he was raised in the forest and then he got bit by eels, and that's why he was green.
I don't think being bitten by eels turns you green, but okay.
Well,
I gotta go
that's what
experiment with this. I gotta find out.
No, Sakura, no.
Okay,
It's
so
alright.
wait. Okay, so the backstory is Blanca was originally designed. Wait. He first appeared in the 1991 Street Fighter II as one of the 8 playable blah blah blah. Okay. Blanca also present a number of Capcom crossover games, including SNK vs. Capcom series. The character appeared in others. So first appeared when he sees his mother, who tells his backstory after he competes in the World Warrior tournament. According to the story, Blanca was born as a boy named Jimmy who was involved in a plane crash in the Amazon rainforest. Although the initial game, Blanca's mother says that the plane crashed and he was a little boy, the manual for Street Fighter 4 says it happened when he was a baby. After the crash, he was exposed to electric eels, triggering the mutation which changed his appearance and gave him electric powers.
But why though?
Because old video games make excuses, alright? Alright.
That's fair.
Because Blanca.
Because Blanca. But yeah, no. I think you're thinking just Charlie, though. Which, he's also called Nash. They switch between Charlie and Nash, but that's because first and or last name. But yeah. Alright.
Oh, totally different person. But okay. Stream over?
Stream over. I need to actually sleep, or I will be late for work, which it's gonna get me free pizza.
Free pizza.
Yeah, because apparently that I was a part of a little team that kept being consecutive with getting the highest score because no one gives a shit that much. And that gives
so
us free
proud.
pizza.
Well, I'm proud.
I'm tired.
I know.
Hi, tired.
Uh,
Are you going to be able to do things tomorrow, V?
I will have to see. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be working late the next 2